Hello everybody and welcome into ICRC-TV's coverage of high school football. Alongside Will Stevens, I'm Luke Brenneman. And Will, the Taylor Yellow Jackets come in at 3-6, trying to beat the home Warriors at 3-6. Will, those records don't sound too good, but there is a ton of talent on the field tonight. Who are some players to look out for?
Well, certainly it's a battle of the quarterbacks tonight, Luke. We got Jackson McGowan at the helm for the Taylor Yellow Jackets, and this guy is an absolute stud. 117.2 QB rating on the year, along with 13 touchdowns and 206 yards per game. That leads the league. And right into the other quarterback at the Mariemont Warriors, it's going to be David Dorston, right behind Jackson McGowan in terms of leading the league. Just a great player. So I'd love to see how these quarterbacks perform out here tonight. Yeah, well, I think a deciding factor in this ball game could be who wins the quarterback matchup. Of course, they don't line up on opposite sides of the fields of each other, but which guy will outdo another? Because I think both of these offenses are going to be firing tonight. I know there's a ton of energy in Kusel Stadium right now. And Will, it is a win and you're in situation for the Taylor Yellow Jackets. Mariemont can win and still have a chance with some other things happening. But what are some keys to the game? When you look at this, the Taylor Yellow Jackets, they have to limit turnovers. As good as McGowan's been, it's a 13-12 touchdown to interception ratio on the year. So as much as you'd love to see his success, we got to make sure that McGowan is able to hold on to the football. Any big mistake will be penalized with this tough Warriors defense. Yeah, and for Mariemont, well, it's safe to say we've been doing games all year. They need to establish the run. The running back committee has been beat up. On the season has been David Dorston, the quarterback. He leads the team in rushing. He leads all CHL quarterbacks in rushing, over 430 yards on the year. You're right about Dorston. He's an absolute freak athlete. The Warriors try and get him involved in any way possible, whether it be through the air or on the ground, and especially without Timmy Stewart, it appears that they won't have him tonight at the receiving spot. So Dorston's going to have to play a big role in this game in terms of throwing the ball and also on the ground. Him and Duckwell and Brown, the rest of the running back committee, they're going to really have to establish the run if they want a chance in this game. And just like that, we are off at Kusel Stadium, senior night for the home Warriors, and Evan Morgan is going to return the kick, and he's ran out of bounds at about the 29-yard line. So we're going to get our first look at this Warrior offense led by senior quarterback David Dorston. Will, this kid came into the CHL with all of the talent in the world, and he still has it. He dealt with a foot injury last year, but that foot looks just fine, if not better this season, because he's not only making plays with his arm, he's making a lot of plays with his legs. Well, this Taylor defense, they've been outscored in the CHL 86-7 to 172. So that differential is not something that every head coach wants to see out of their team. But also the Warriors, it's 87 points scored, giving up 177 in the conference. So these teams on paper match up near identical to one another. Warriors start out with a run and pick up about 6 on first down.
Layman on the tackle, Duckwell.
You're absolutely right about talking about how many points these guys have given up throughout the year. And I think it's one of those things where the offense is going to influence the defense. If Taylor's turning the ball over, it's not going to put their defense into a good spot, and they might be due to give up a lot of points. But if Taylor can hold on to the football, and we're specifically focusing on the Yellow Jackets as they've had turnover problems throughout the year. So whichever team wins the turnover battle, their defense should be in a great position.
A little bit of confusion on the handoff, and Duckwall is ran over. In on the stop for the Jackets, Grant Booth, and I think we're going to be calling this guy's name a lot tonight, Will. He leads the conference in tackles, over 65 solo tackles on the year.
You said it, Luke. This is a guy that fills up the stat sheet. He's got over 65 solo tackles, as you said. He's got 3 sacks on the year, a forced fumble, a fumble recovered, and an interception. So this guy is all over the field. And I think Booth versus Dorston is going to be a huge matchup to watch tonight. Who's going to win that battle up the middle?
Yeah, Mariemont coaching staff needs a plan to slow that guy down, because if not, he might go unconscious tonight. Dorston calls Whitmore in motion. He's going to drop back, has a lot of time, looking over the middle and deep. He finds Evan Morgan across the 30 and taken down just at the 22-yard line. The Warriors are moving it early. And Evan Morgan typically doesn't play receiver, but he's stepping in for a beat-up Timmy Stewart, and he looks pretty good in the opening drive.
These Warrior receivers, the whole team really, they're so athletic that the Yellow Jackets don't drop two high safeties back. They try and play straight man, and on the first play, they get immediately burned. It's Evan Morgan up the sideline, just showing off his speed.
Yeah, when talking to Leon all season, Will, he said next man up, and that is the definition of Evan Morgan. He said he was excited to be in the receiver role. He typically plays cornerback. You'll see him on defense. Big pickup there. Here's Glassmeyer. Has a lot of space. Dropped at about the 15 by Grant Ferguson, the sophomore.
You know, one thing to watch with this Taylor Yellow Jacket team, you just talked about Ferguson, the sophomore on defense. They've got McFarland, the top receiver in the CHL, a freshman. But in this win-or-go-home situation, how will those underclassmen respond to the pressure of needing a big performance out of them tonight?
Yeah, speaking of an underclassman stepping up the pressure, that's Max Duckwall. He has a cast on his right hand, Will, and he's still going tonight. If you don't think this matters to him, it's going to be a stud. Here's another good running back the Warriors have, and it's Elliott Brown picking up the first down, but a flag comes in near the 10-yard line.
Pass complete for the Warriors, but flag on the play.
Well, it seems at times this Mariemont offense can't string together good plays in a row. We saw the pickup to Morgan, then a check down, picks up 6 yards on first down, but this flag is going to bump them back 10 yards now. They need to be able to respond to adversity better and also generate momentum and hold it.
You know, absolutely. Penalties have been a huge issue for this Warriors team throughout the year. They just get a little bit overeager on offense. You know, they really want to make a play, but it's at a certain point, you got to be disciplined to make sure that you're within the rules of the football game.
Elliott Brown, the back to Dorston's left. 2nd and 9 after the penalty. They're going to hand it to Brown. Has a big hole. He picks up the first down to the 6-yard line. Warrior offensive line opened up an enormous gap for the junior back, Elliott Brown, and they're going to move the chains once again. Well, this offense is rolling on the opening drive. At the 6-yard line is where they're spotted. 1st and goal. First and goal. Dorston, play action, looking for Patrick Sweeney. The ball is a little bit out in front. Good coverage from Ferguson.
I love the play call, though by Coach Nick Leon. You know, getting a little quick slant going over the middle, trying to get Dorston involved in the passing game early and get a little touchdown in the air to start the game. You love the play call. Just didn't work out, just out of Sweeney's reach.
Yeah, well, Sweeney has a great frame. We actually haven't seen much of him this year. A lot of Mariemont receivers physically look like great players. It started off as Timmy Stewart's season. He had 2 touchdowns in the season opener. He's out tonight. He's been beat up with some labrum issues. They're going to hand it to Brown here. Another big hole, and that's a Warrior touchdown. Mariemont, flawless first drive of the game as they take a 6-0 lead. Wow, they looked great there, Will. Big time way to start senior night at home.
Absolutely, and we see it on this touchdown once again, as we saw on the run earlier for Brown. Just huge holes being opened up by the offensive line, something that if you're a Warrior fan, you have not been accustomed to seeing. You see it right here. Number 73, it looks like that's going to be
is Duckwall. It's at 51.
51. Duckwall opening up the huge hole there. But that's what you love to see out of this Warrior offensive line.
Mariemont goes for 2. Dorston looking for the pylon. He gets popped. He did not get in. Great hit by McFarland. Wow. You don't see Dorston get pushed back like that too often, Will. He's done his fair share of running men over this year. And McFarland was not about to let the senior get to the pylon. Warriors lead 6-0 with 8:18 left in the first. All right, we talked about the keys to the game. Who's going to win the quarterback battle? Dorston definitely just started off with a big-time haymaker in that first drive. Let's see what the junior, McGowan, has in response.
And you know, McGowan, look for him to come out guns a-blazing to start this game. We talked about the turnover problems that he's had, the touchdown to interception ratio. But that being said, he leads the league in passing yards. This team's going to throw the ball a lot. So I'll be excited to see what McGowan does coming out. Look for some very aggressive play calling out of Taylor head coach David Dransman.
Yeah, well, both of these teams come in looking for a win. I think it's safe to say needing a win. Taylor, losers of 5 straight. Mariemont, losers in 3 straight. Both of these teams are a lot better than what their records show, though. I think that first drive gives us a hint that tonight could be a very exciting one at Kusel Stadium. Here's McFarland on the return. Crosses the 35. Has a hole. Cuts it back towards the Warrior sideline. Breaks a tackle. And he's finally dragged down inside of Warrior territory by Stuart Wells. But Taylor is going to start in terrific field position at the 46-yard line. That's someone Mariemont is going to have to, I don't really think you can say stop in the same sentence with Aaron McFarland, but definitely try and neutralize tonight.
Absolutely. You know, the freshman leads the league in receiving yards, and he's got 7 touchdowns in just 9 games. So look for him to be a red zone threat, a deep ball threat. He does everything. So look out for Aaron McFarland tonight.
They send him in motion. They're going to hand it off here. A big hole, a missed tackle up the sideline. J.D. Long brings down Leland Jones Royalty, the senior back, after about a pickup of 20 yards. Excuse me, 15 yards as he's down at around the 32.
You know, I know it's early, Luke, but some poor tackling by the Warriors, both on that kickoff return and on the run. Multiple guys with good looks at the receiver, or in that case, the running back, Royalty. The good looks to bring him down, couldn't do it.
They give it to Jones Royalty again. Another huge hole. Up the far sideline he goes. Runs a man over, and on his way, he steps out of bounds at the 15-yard line. If we thought Mariemont was moving fast in their first drive, Taylor, after a big return from McFarland, back-to-back big-time runs for 15 yards.
You know, one thing I noticed out of Leland Jones Royalty early in this game, the patience and poise that he has as a runner. He's very aggressive, but he's looking for his moment and his hole to go through and break through a seam. So you look like he's a very advanced runner early in this game.
Yet to see McGowan throw, and I don't see the need to. They give it to Jones Royalty once again, and he's stuffed at the line of scrimmage.
Jones Royalty, no gain. Evan Morgan in there first.
Wow, well, in on the stop was David Dorston playing linebacker tonight. I will actually wrap myself out here. When we were building the graphics, or the ICRC guys in the truck, shout out to them. They did do an amazing job to give us an opportunity to call these games. They had linebacker next to Dorston's name, and we were like, you might as well knock that off, or at least I was, because we haven't seen him play linebacker at all this year. And he gets in on the tackle there. You think it has something to do with senior night?
You know what, it might have something to do with senior night, but I think more importantly, it has something to do with Mariemont wins this game, and we said with some help, they can get into the playoffs. But this is Dorston's last ever regular season game, so it might have to do with senior night, but I'd say more so, he's the best athlete probably on the field right now. And so they want him everywhere right now, because they will do anything in their power to win this football game tonight.
Mark Morgan, after making the stop, limps off the field. We hope he's okay. He's emerged as the Warriors' top receiver. He's actually top 5 in the league in receiving yards. He's kind of adopted by Nick Leone a few games in the year as the top tight end on the Mariemont football team. 3rd and 10. McGowan drops back, looks over the middle. This one's in the air, and it's picked off. Ryan Glassmeyer's now taking it the other way. And we talked about turning the ball over with McGowan, but I don't think that one was necessarily his fault.
You know, I can't say I've seen a lot of Taylor games this year, but if that's what a lot of McGowan's interceptions look like, I feel bad for him, because interceptions, they aren't necessarily just a quarterback stat. I think personally they should keep them as separate stats for the quarterbacks and receivers, because that one certainly was not on McGowan. Just a blatant drop right through his hands, and it falls into the lap of Ryan Glassmeyer.
Mariemont coming out with some serious momentum. Just under 6 minutes left in the first quarter. Scored a touchdown the last time they had the ball, and the offense is going to take the field once again. Ryan Glassmeyer the junior picks off McGowan. Looked like the throw could have been a little high. There was definitely some zip on it, but great play, good stand inside the red zone by the Warriors defense. And they hand it off to Elliott Brown on first down, who picks up 2.
Elliott with the carry for 2. Kerr on the play for Taylor.
Second and 7. Dorston to throw. Looking over the middle. This ball's offline. Intended receiver was Patrick Sweeney. Can't tell if it was a bad throw or Sweeney tripped. He's frustrated with something there.
Looked like there's a bit of miscommunication between Sweeney and Dorston there. Sweeney's trying to just get out there and sit down inside of that Yellow Jacket zone and open himself up in a hole out there. And Dorston wanted to hit him, but I think he just didn't know, do I lead him or do I just throw it to where he is, because he's trying to settle in that zone. Just a bit of miscommunication there.
Yeah, Will, I was going to tell everyone tuning in to look out for number 1 in blue because he's the leading receiver on this team, but I think his gloves speak for themselves. Mark Morgan, what is that, turquoise gloves tonight? Potentially a little Halloween, spooky season vibes. They're going to throw once again. Dorston looking over the middle, and it's a great ball. Davis Whitmore now across the 45, and he's dragged down at about the 47. He found a soft spot in the zone, and Dorston converts. The chains will move.
Grant Booth on the tackle.
Absolutely great play by Dorston there. I thought he was going to number 1, Mark Morgan, like we were just talking about. Looked at him the whole way up the sideline, then looks off the defender, throws it to Whitmore up the middle. Just a great completion there.
Glassmeyer in motion. They hand it to Brown, running straight up the hole. Has a big hole, and he picks up another first down. This rushing attack from Mariemont looking very good thus far.
Jones royalty on the play.
You know, we raised some questions about the Warriors running game before the start of this one, but when you've got number 73 Oliver Lupien out there doing work up the middle, he's a big boy at 6'2", 250, and he's having a great day so far in the trenches, and that's going to open up a lot of holes.
Yeah, I think they talk about it a lot in pro football and college football. Establishing the run helps out the quarterback so much because you can go play action. They're going to run it here again to Duckwall, who picks up 4. It looked like effortlessly. This Mariemont offensive line is just pushing the Yellow Jackets back off the line of scrimmage 2 to 3 yards every single snap. But back to my point, it just does so much for Dorston to be able to have 2nd and 5, 2nd and 3, even 2nd and 6, because it's much more manageable to pick up a few and give yourself a converting a 3rd down or taking a shot like we've seen a few times so far already.
You know, they call that staying on schedule, Luke, because it gives you options on 2nd down. They can possibly run it again. They can look in the air with Dorston, and Taylor doesn't really know what to expect if they get into these 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5 type of downs.
Yeah, you can already see here the Yellow Jackets load in the box. They're going to run a little jet sweep to Glassmeyer, and this play is blown up as well as Glassmeyer. In on the stop, Leland Jones royalty delivering a hit on Ryan Glassmeyer.
Puts a big loss on Glassmeyer on the run.
Well, if I'm being honest with you, the way they've been running the ball just right up the gut, smash mouth football, I hate that decision to try to get tricky and run a jet sweep down the outside.
It's an interesting decision because you see, as you said, Taylor's packing the box up the middle. But in my opinion, you got to make Taylor prove they can, even if they pack the box, they got to stop you up the middle before you try and go end around to Glassmeyer up there, because that one just had absolutely nothing. Royalty was in there blowing up that play before it even started.
These were the downs that we said offensive coordinators try to avoid. 3rd and long. Can the Warriors convert? And they're not going to be able to. Dorston dropped in the backfield, and in on the sack was 28, Brody Lenman, the sophomore. And it looked like the Warriors had something going, Will, but back-to-back blown up plays, the jet sweep for a loss of about 6, and then Dorston getting sacked for a loss of 5. And Mariemont's going to have to punt after turning over McGowan and the Jackets on defense. Probably shouldn't punt it to this guy, right?
They go right to
Oh,
him.
he muffs it. Still makes multiple guys miss. He's tackled about the 23.
You know, up here in the booth, we do get the pleasure to be next to the Mariemont coaching box. And going back to that sack, before the play was even snapped, we saw some frustration out of the coaches next to us. And I think there was a miscommunication on the offensive line in terms of the blocking assignments there, because Dorston had 2 guys all over him. And I think the coaches might have seen that, unable to get the timeout into Nick Leone. But clearly something was going on in the trenches there that we were not able to see before the play even started.
Yeah, David Dransman, the head coach of the Tailored Yellow Jackets. Him and his coaching staff dialed up a very effective blitz there on 3rd and long. They hand it off to Jones Royalty, and he's just bouncing off defenders. A stiff arm across the 50, 45, and down at the 40. Oh my, Jones Royalty pinballing his way into Mariemont territory.
Finally makes the play after a long run by Jones.
A bit surprised to not see a horse collar at the end of that play. Looked like he might have got grabbed on the back of his neck. But, I mean, Leland Jones Royalty, I'm not going to lie, when we saw his name on the roster before this one, I was hoping we'd get to call it a lot tonight. And my goodness, is this guy just an absolute stud. What a phenomenal start to the game for Mr. Royalty.
They give it to him once again. Cuts it back up towards the middle, and looks like Oliver Lupien was in on the stop. Excuse me, Lawson Wade in on the stop. Let's take a look at the Warriors' defensive starters tonight. This D has actually been pretty good this season. Coming off last week, having to play at Wyoming against the best offense maybe the CHL's ever seen, maybe the best running back they've ever seen. A lot of these guys play both ways, so we'll be calling their name a lot. Ryan Glassmeyer already on the stat sheet with the interception. Connor Jackson, a senior defensive back. Of course, Dorston in tonight. This place is packed, Will. There was a lot of energy circulating around the school today for senior night. Big football game, capping off the home season, we hope, not the entire season. But it's packed at Kusel Stadium.
Absolutely, just such an exciting game. They've been on the road the last 2 weeks, going to Wyoming and then to Reading, too. Very impressive opponents, I will say. Those guys are very, very talented on that side of the ball. But, yeah, you can just feel the energy out here. People are excited to get out, finally get to Kusel Stadium to watch a game, and especially on senior night. They want to see something special happen.
Yeah, perfect football weather, fall night, 55 degrees, limited wind. Friday night lights are all about. With great field position after the big run, McGowan is going to be in the shotgun on 2nd and 5. He drops back. Looking for McFarland, and he has him. That ball was on the money. And just like that, this game is knotted up at 6. I want to act like I'm surprised, but Aaron McFarland's stats speak for himself. His frame, his agility. And McGowan put that ball right in the breadbasket. 6-6. 1:14 left in the first.
And Luke, what did we say at the top of this broadcast? McFarland is a stud. And we said McGowan, look for him to throw the ball down the field. He's very aggressive at the quarterback position. And already in the first quarter, we see a deep ball to the freshman McFarland for a touchdown.
I mean, it was just a straight go route on the near sideline. And Evan Morgan was the man beat in coverage. The high safety came over and wasn't even close to catching up with McFarland. That was just straight speed and a great throw by Jackson McGowan.
Yeah, just a great route by McFarland there. And you said the high safety, you know, he's coming over trying to make a play. But when you're dealing with a receiver that has the talent that McFarland does, it's not enough to just play 2 high safeties and then try and beat him on the edge. You have to almost have that high safety shadowing him, and not really a double team situation, but he's got to be looking at him the whole way, because by the time that he sees him streaking up the sideline, it's far too late when you've got Aaron McFarland speed.
Yeah, this kid's only a freshman, Will. 5'10", 161. I mean, pretty good frame for a freshman, but nothing pops out at you too much, I would say. But the numbers definitely speak for themselves.
I mean, you said it, Luke. He's 5'10", 161. which is really crazy to think about because quite a similar build to myself, except for I'm in the booth and he's down there leading the CHL in receiving yards, which just seems absolutely crazy. But he's an athlete, man. I'll tell you what, just from watching him for 10, 15 minutes of football, he is an athlete.
Yeah, the league better look out for this guy. Also, McGowan, only a junior. They're going to be a dynamic duo next year as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they're even better with more experience. Jackets kick this one out of bounds. It was almost a perfect kick, actually. Ball was definitely flirting with staying in bounds. Good decision by Elliott Brown to let it go out.
Looks like there is a flag for the ball being kicked out of bounds.
Taylor converted on the extra point.
Mariemont will take over on the
Kicker Zach Grau. He actually hasn't attempted a field goal this season, but moves to 8 for 9 on PATs. Ball at the 35. Thorson to throw. Steps up in the pocket. He's dragged down from behind by Mike Branch, the freshman. So now after that perfect first drive, Taylor getting some pressure in the Warrior backfield as Dorston tried to step up. 2nd and 11.
You know, Luke, you said about Aaron McFarland that not a lot jumps out to you physically. You cannot say the same for freshman Mike Branch. 6'3", 225 as a 9th grader. That's quite the frame, and that's quite the play out of the young man.
Elliott Brown up the gut. Picks up about 4. It's still going to bring up 3rd and 7. Well, I think this is a big down. The Warriors might let this one run into the end of the first quarter, which they're going to do as there's only 10 seconds remaining. But after the first quarter of play, this is everything that we thought it would be. 2 really good quarterbacks, both advancing the ball. Mariemont had to punt when they got into territory last drive. Taylor responds behind a McGowan and McFarland connection for about 40 yards on the touchdown. And it's a 7-6 ball game after 1. We'll be back for the second quarter in just a moment.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to ICRC-TV Sports. Three-pointer. Got it. What a goal! Mariemont going for the championship.
I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds, walk a mile in my...
Welcome back as the second quarter is starting up on a very big down. 3rd and long. Warriors run a screen to Whitmore. Ball was out in front, and a very nice play made by Grant Ferguson. And that brings up 4th down, and the Warriors are going to bring on the punt team for back-to-back drives.
You know, Luke, I raised questions about the underclassmen of this Taylor Yellow Jacket team and their willingness to really put themselves out there in a do-or-die game, but I think I'm getting my answer pretty quickly between Branch, McFarland, and Ferguson. We're calling their names a lot early. Clearly no fear out of the young man out there.
Dorston to punt for Mariemont. High snap. A little bit of a wobbly punt, but he got it away, and it's going to be a really good one. Oh, we might have a fight at about the 37-yard line. Flag. There's a flag thrown. after the terrific punt inside the 20. The ball's going to be spotted at just over the 19-yard line. But, well, it's going to be interesting to see what this flag is because two guys were going at it. I know that Andrew Duckwall was one of them, right at the spot of the punt.
The punt goes down to the 20.
We'll see what they call here, but I'd like to see offsetting penalties. I don't necessarily love calling it on one guy here because what normally happens if you watch football games, the first guy goes at him, the second guy gets caught. So you don't necessarily know that you're getting the right guy. I'd like to see offsetting penalties. We'll see what the Zebras have out there.
The officials will figure it out now. So it's going to be on Taylor. I think it's because it was after the punt. It's not going to be effective on the fourth down. So the Jackets will just get bumped back all the way now to the 10-yard line. So that makes Dorston's punt even better. They're going to have to go the length of the field to try and increase their lead.
I mean, can I just say, two great punts by Dorston so far. The first one bobbled a little bit by McFarland, just an absolute line drive, and then that one gets down inside the 20 and then gets helped by that flag. I mean, that's one of the most important elements of the game is switching the field on the punts, and Dorston's doing a great job so far.
McGowan, Warriors showed a blitz up the gut. Royalty bounces it outside, and this guy is an absolute freight train right now, Will. It seems like Mariemont has 3 bodies on him, and then he just pops out of the pile, and another pickup of over 10 yards. The chains will move.
You know, right before the play, you said Mariemont showed blitz up the middle. It was J.D. Long, number 54, coming right up the gut. He was screaming in there. He had the snap count guessed correctly, but then the last second, it looked like he kind of backed off, maybe didn't know if he was going to get called for offsides if he went right there. That could be the difference, you know, right there between a sack or a run for a loss, and then Royalty gets 10, 15 yards.
Yeah, they're going to give it to him again. He runs right up the gut. Stuffed for one of the only times tonight, but still picks up about 2 or 3.
This time about 7 Warriors are there to make the stop. 2nd and 7.
Some seniors on this Mariemont defense tonight. Owen Metz, Connor Jackson, London Hilton, Mark Morgan, Evan Morgan. Henry Dunn has not been on the Warrior team all year, but he's a great football player. A flag comes in after another good defensive stop by the Warriors. I think this might be a hold on the Jackets.
Owen Metz makes the play for the Warriors, but also a holding penalty.
Going to back Taylor up 10 yards and bring up 2nd and 4 ever. So they got to be looking to convert on 2 pretty medium pickups here, I would say, right, Will?
Absolutely. You know, there's 2 ways to go about this. Either you take the deep shot twice, or you go for a quick hit or 10, 15 yards, and then try and get the rest of it on 3rd down. So we'll see what they elect to do here.
They haven't thrown it too many times, considering McGowan leads the league in yards per game. They're going to throw it here, and guess where he's looking? McFarland, far sideline. That ball was actually on the money, but terrific coverage from Evan Morgan. He got burned on the Jackets' last drive, but is right on McFarland there. But a late flag comes in. Well, must have been tugging on the speedster a little bit.
You know, it was a great play by Morgan to stay with him the whole way, but it was a little bit suspicious that he was able to stay with him the whole way. So I wonder if early in that one, as soon as he got off the line of scrimmage, he was kind of giving himself some help by tugging at the jersey.
Yeah, Evan Morgan is one of my best friends, and I don't remember him being able to keep up with me that much, let alone Aaron McFarland. So I think that's where the laundry hits the field. I didn't really see it. It blended in with the yellow, but it's going to be 2nd and 1 after the penalty. James Royalty on the outside, turning the corner. Pushed out of bounds by Ryan Glassmeyer, but every time this kid gets the ball, well, Taylor is moving the chains.
I mean, I got to be completely honest right now. We talked about Taylor's struggles at the top of this. They're 3-6 on the year, 1-5 in the league. They've lost 5 straight coming in. Watching this football team, I do not see where their 5 straight losses come from. Obviously, the CHL is a phenomenal conference, but this is a very, very talented ball club. So you wonder if things just haven't been falling their way. Maybe some injuries have been going on, but this team looks really good right now.
And on first down, they're going to give it to him again. He just keeps popping it outside. Picks up about 7 on that carry. Will, back to that point that you just brought up, I think it really does show how good the Cincinnati Hills League has been at football this season. Wyoming and Madeira play each other tonight, both 7-0 on the year. So it should be a very interesting matchup.
Yeah, Wyoming and Madeira.
Excuse me, is it 9-0, both of them?
9-0. Going to be 9-0 for both of them.
Excuse me.
Those guys, obviously you want to keep the viewers here, but that is the game of the year in the CHL, maybe in the city of Cincinnati. That's going to be a heck of a ball game tonight.
Yeah, Royalty having himself a heck of a ball game. He is having his way throughout the first quarter and about a half here.
Jones, Royalty again. First and 10 in the 35.
First and 10 for the Jackets.
You know, back to your point about the strength of the CHL, you know, you're absolutely right. Madeira, Reading, Wyoming, great football schools this year. And then in soccer, golf, I know the Mariemont cross country team has had a lot of success this year. In those sports, you always see CHL teams making a deep run when you get to the state tournament. So absolutely phenomenal to see the play of this conference in every sport so far.
McGowan actually hands this one to McFarland. I mean, well, I always live by, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I mean, McFarland is very versatile on the outside. But I don't know why you'd give him the ball when Royalty has just been running all over the Warrior defense. This play is blown dead before the snap. Mark Morgan was all over McFarland.
Looks like we're getting a false start.
Mariemont had that play blown up from the get-go. That'll bounce him back 5 yards, bring up 2nd and 15. Well, Mariemont hasn't gotten much pressure on McGowan thus far. Do you think they'll start to dial up any blitzes in the near future? They get to him here. It's a screen. And this ball was picked off by Evan Morgan. He's running across the far sideline. McGowan slows him down. But Morgan snuffed out that screen from a mile away. And momentum has flipped as Mariemont will take over in Yellow Jacket territory. Great stand and interception from Evan Morgan and the Warrior defense.
You know, the halfback screen, it's one of the most dangerous plays in football because you are abandoning the entire offensive line. And that makes way for a guy like Evan Morgan to come through and blow that play up, gets the interception there. Just a phenomenal play by number 11 in blue as he now lines up in the slot on offense.
Yeah, he struggled in the first half. He'd be the first guy to tell you. But that was a big play to make up for a pass interference call and a touchdown to McFarland earlier. See if the Warriors can capitalize on a turnover. Thorston over the middle to Mark Morgan. This ball is incomplete. In on the coverage, Anthony Kerr.
Pass incomplete. It's going to be 2nd down.
Looked like Dorston waited a little bit too long to throw that football on that play. You know, I think he's trying to make sure he gets a good spiral on and a good firm throw. But really all you need to do there is get a little wobbly floater out there, and your receiver's going to come down with the play. He was so wide open on that one. Would have liked to see him get the ball just a tick sooner.
Dorston, QB keeper, up the gut. Fights forward for about 5 yards. See, Will, it is now, what, week 10 of the season, senior night. And every single time I have seen David Dorston keep the football, he gets at least 4 to 5 yards, if not more.
Absolutely, Luke. And, you know, earlier this year we did probably the game of the year for the Warriors against Indian Hill. And in that fourth quarter, it was all David Dorston all the time. And you're right, everything I've seen from this team this year says that Dorston could take the ball, quarterback draw, right at the middle every time, and be totally fine. Obviously, there's injury concern in there, but we'll see if that becomes a factor late in the game.
Well, he averages 4.6 per carry. He's going to carry it here. A flag comes in. I think we might see a hold. Typically, that's what those flags coming in right on the line of scrimmage are going to be. It is going to be a hold on the Warriors. So, well, he's ran it 101 times coming in for 461 yards and 5 touchdowns, and they always wait till the second half. I don't know if it's a strategy or they're trying to keep him healthy, but when he runs it, good things happen.
Taylor's decided to accept the penalty to make it 3rd and 16.
All right, so, Will, if Taylor declines that penalty, or Dorston was never tackled, or yeah, he was. How many did he pick up? Like 2? It's been like
not more than 2.
So 4th and like medium, 3 to 5. Do you like the decision accepting this penalty and making it 3rd and 15?
I do like the decision to accept this penalty because it's just going to push them back that much more. And I think that you entertain the idea for them if it's 4th and 6 to go for it. Whereas I think right here you're forcing them to make a play. Otherwise, it's a sure thing that you're going to punt and get the ball back. So it's a lot of trust in your defense, but I do like the call at a head coach, David Dransman.
Yeah, to me, Will, it just seems like when Mariemont picks up yards, they pick up a lot of them. They're looking for a lot here. What a throw from David Dorston. Ryan Glassmeyer on 3rd and 4 ever. They convert and some with the 50-yard touchdown from where Dorston threw it from. But that ball couldn't have been in a better spot. Warriors lead 12-7.
That was an absolute heat-seeking missile from David Dorston. What a throw. And that's one of the best calls I've ever seen. Right before the play, my partner Luke Brenneman goes, when they pick him up in a bundle, and then bang, what a call from the veteran commentator Luke Brenneman.
Well, it's a final ride tonight on ICRC with Warrior football, so I had to get something right this year. And they're going to go for 2. This is actually a very important 2-point conversion to get it to a 7-point lead. Dorston scrambling up the gut, runs a man over, and is stopped about 2 yards short. So 0 for 2 on the 2-point tries, but I don't want that to take away from the absolute dime that David Dorston just dropped. And, Will, when we normally talk about good throws, it's kind of what we saw from McGowan. A just ball rainbow falls into the receiver's arms. Ryan Glassmeyer was running full speed. Dorston zipped it in there, and he caught it in stride. So great play from both of them. Dorston had a lot of time. Wow, that was very exciting.
It almost looked like David Dorston took out some frustration over this offensive drive. It hasn't been really going his way on that throw because that ball, I don't know what the average velocity is for what a throw is supposed to look like in high school football, but that was well above it because that ball was great.
And let's take another look at it. I could watch this all day. Dorston just steps up. It was McFarland in coverage, so that shows you how fast Glassmeyer was running.
But we see it on that replay. Dorston, you said, threw it from about the 50-yard line. Glassmeyer caught it at about the 10. So that ball traveled 40 yards in the air, and it never really got above the height of one of those first down pylons, which is probably about 10 to 12 feet. So that traveled 40 yards, not really getting above about head high in the air, which is really remarkable.
Dorston's arm strength is something that's very underrated about him. Early on in high school career, he didn't get the time to throw it much. The biggest struggle with his Mariemont team was the offensive line. If you give the guy a shot with an open receiver, you can put the ball on the money. Jackets pick this one up in great field position. And they're going to take over with 4:47 left in the first half at the 47-yard line.
He manages to get his hands on the ball again, taken down by Davis Whitmore. Updated scores from around the city.
You know, Luke, on the last Yellow Jacket possession, you asked me about defending the run game and, dialing up some blitzes before we were so rudely interrupted by the phenomenal interception by Mr. Morgan and then the touchdown by Dorston. But I think it's a timely manner in which you dial up those blitzes, because if you send guys screaming off the edge when you have weapons like McFarland on the field, that can get you in a lot of trouble. So we'll see when Coach Leone decides to dial those up.
McGowan steps up. He has a lot of green ahead of him. He picks up about 17 on the QB keeper.
McGowan's going to keep it himself.
This Taylor
He's out of
offense
bounds.
only has 7 points right now, Will, but their average yards per play is well over 6.5.
And I think it's just a matter of, we saw in their first possession, a little bit unlucky on the receiver drop, resulting in an interception. And then the last play that they had on offense before the run was a blown up screen that the Morgan man got to. So I think it's just an issue. We talked about it at the top, interceptions. You know, McGowan already has 2 in this game. Not necessarily his fault, I don't want to say, on either of those, but they're giving up possession after having great offense. So we'll see what happens.
The ball popped loose there thanks to Lawson Wade, the absolute force in the middle of the Warriors' defensive line. Good stop there considering Mariemont is showing some improvement against James Royalty and the Jackets' run offense. Will, I think I'm just going to keep going back to it all night. The quarterback battle is one of ICRC's keys to the game. Dorston struck first. McGowan kind of said, it takes 2 to tango here with that throw to McFarland. And then David Dorston, that might be the play, not just of the night, but maybe the throw of the year from number 10. Here's McFarland coming across the near sideline. Ran out of bounds by Mark Morgan. He's going to be short of the sticks.
McFarland takes a quick pitch pass up about 7 yards. It's going to be 3rd and 3.
It's a big 3rd down, Will. What do you think the Jackets offense dials up here?
We got 3rd and 4 here. I know it's not the most conventional call, but with the success they've had with Royalty on the ground, I would love to see some power football up the middle and let your star running back go to work, but we'll see what they do.
They're not going to run it. I'm surprised by that decision, but it works out. McGowan throws a strike to DJ Handy.
Johnny Jackson on the play. At this time,
Picks
we
up the
would
first down.
like parents of the seniors that are going to be recognized at halftime to make their way down to the track. Parents of seniors to be recognized at halftime.
If you guys are just tuning in, we've mentioned that tonight is senior night at Kusel Stadium. We're going to keep the cameras rolling throughout halftime. If you would like to see the senior night ceremony for Warrior athletes. Royalty's trying to spoil senior night at Kusel Stadium, just picking up first down after first down. Another 15 yards there for 32. They're now inside the 10, 1st and goal. 3:31 left in the first half.
You know, we didn't mention this at the top of the broadcast, but it's just come into my mind. Last year, the Mariemont Warriors, in a very similar situation to Taylor, win and you're in, went to Taylor and won that game to get into the playoff. So Taylor, maybe a revenge game here.
Yeah, speaking of revenge, was this drive from the Jackets offense. They come right back after the touchdown from Ryan Glassmeyer and regain the lead, now 13-12, with the extra point coming up.
That takes a lot of poise from this Yellow Jacket offense to see the plays that were made by the Warrior offense. We see this little pitch play to the outside. Great design from Coach Dranson, but that takes a lot of poise, as I was saying, for them to come out so calm on that offensive drive and score a touchdown.
Grau's kick is good. But on that run, Will, Grayson Evans, the offensive lineman, sealed the edge. And he was really the guy who gave Royalty the hole. Royalty was untouched until about the 1-yard line. I really liked the swing pitch play. But Taylor, right as Mariemont scores, they've done a great job of bouncing back. And this game is very even. We talked about on paper, both these squads looked pretty equal coming into tonight's game. They've definitely proven it.
Absolutely. It's just so tightly contested. It's like 2 boxers in the ring right now with McGowan and Dorston just throwing haymakers at each other. And so far, no one's really flinched. All I've seen is phenomenal play from the 2 quarterbacks to this point.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I'm kind of shocked. By doing research in this game, all we wanted to talk about was Jackson McGowan, leading the conference in yards. We talked about how good the conference has been this year. This Jacket offense is averaging just 62 rushing yards per game. That sounds hard to believe to me. I think they surpassed that number after the first quarter, maybe even the first drive of the game.
You know, who knows what was going on in the rest of the Taylor Yellow Jacket games? Because you're completely right. Jones Royalty is one of the most impressive runners I've ever seen. And so you wonder if maybe he was injured at some point, maybe he was playing a different position before they converted him to running back late in the season. But man, oh man, if this guy was playing running back all year, there's no way that the Taylor rushing stats would be where they are.
So, Will, 62 is what they averaged on the year. Shout out to Mr. Cholino. Just gave us word 172 tonight, and the first half isn't even over yet. I mean, that's 110 more yards that they average per game just in the first half of football. So I think we got to give a lot of credit to Royalty. We also have to give some credit to the Jackets' offensive line. And then maybe you need to start calling on this Mariemont defense to slow down the run and pack the box a little bit.
So it's interesting you mentioned that number. Over 150 yards rushing for Jones Royalty in this first half. When the Warriors played Wyoming, obviously you can't really put this on the Warriors, but C.J. Hester ran for just about 310 yards, I believe, in that game. I mean, that guy's just, he's a phenomenal player. What are you going to do? But that gives you an idea. Jones Royalty is putting up Division I football player committed numbers right now.
C.J. Hester has done that to everyone. That game, I overheard, is tied up 7-7 at Madeira tonight, Will. Warriors stuffed on first down, 2nd and 11 coming up next.
Layman on the play for Taylor, 2nd and 11. Mariemont, hurry up.
Warriors now under 3 minutes, getting some tempo going. Dorston steps up, pump fakes, makes a man miss. Oh, runs over another. Seems like Dorston just initiates contact sometimes that the coaching staff does not like in the booth next to us. I think he probably could have gotten to the outside and just stepped out of bounds. He even lowered his head on that hit and buried DJ Handy, who actually made a really nice tackle. 3rd and 7. 2:20 remain.
You know, going back to that Madeira-Wyoming game, we said it was going to be the game of the year in the CHL. That game's at Madeira today. I mean, that's going to be a highly contested game. The Warriors play both those teams so far this year. That's going to be a great game. That house is going to be packed at Madeira. I'd love to see what that game's going on. We'll keep you guys updated throughout this one.
Now exactly at the 2-minute mark. This is a big down because Taylor might get the ball back. Well, over the middle is the senior Mark Morgan. The leading receiver for the Warriors is wide open. He gets dragged down inside of Jacket territory by Lenman, but a big-time 3rd down pickup, and he was more than open.
I mean, quite frankly, if you want my insight as a color commentator, it's the blue gloves. I mean, there's nothing else you can say. He shows up in these turquoise blue gloves today, and you already know he's going to have himself a day. So just a phenomenal play there. Great design by Coach Leon on that little curl route up the middle. And we'll see what they can do with the rest of this drive.
I want to say that he just found a very soft spot in the zone there, but a little bit confusing considering that's got to be the one guy they're staring at in the Warriors receiving corps, considering he's the leading receiver. And there wasn't a guy within 15 yards of him.
Well, and these are the dangers of zone defense. You know, when you play a man-up, a matchup zone, or even straight man, you know you've got someone always looking at their receiver. In this case, it's going to be Mark Morgan, the guy they want to watch. But when you play a straight zone, whether it be cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, you run into the situation sometimes, and this happened on that play on that route by Morgan, where everyone kind of looks at him and they're like, oh, well, someone else will get him. It's not my responsibility. Someone else will get him. And at the end of the day, no one gets him instead of the whole defense crashing to Mark Morgan. That's why he's able to get that completion there.
I think I was spot on with the take that I honestly wasn't that sure about, saying they pick up yards in chunks or they don't pick up yards or they lose yards even.
Absolutely.
Over the middle looking for Morgan again. That was a great throw. Morgan looked like he was going to come down with it, but Grant Ferguson, the guy in the secondary who we've called his name multiple times tonight, just kind of comes in at the last second, sticks his forearm in there, and denies Morgan of a big pickup.
That was an acrobatic play by Ferguson there. It looked like Morgan got it into his hands, and then a leaping effort is able to bat the ball away at the last second.
Shout out to the Mariemont cheerleaders. It's also their senior night, Will. Getting the student section riled up down there. Theme blue and gold. And it's packed. Here's Dorston. Oh, they bring pressure, and they're getting to him. He's rolling out. He just needs to throw this one away. Good call from David Dorston. That's the maturity out of the senior that we've seen a huge increase in his skill of just getting rid of the football instead of turning it over.
Wyoming Madeira still 7-7. Indian Hill 9, Reading 7.
Will just overheard that score coming in. Indian Hill over Reading right now. They have their quarterback, John Pottigill, back tonight for the first time since his broken collarbone in week 1. He can play. And look out for him senior year, because Indian Hill would be a whole different team this year if they had Pottigill.
And Pottigill, you just know he was so excited to come back after watching his team struggle throughout this year. So a big game for the junior. I'd love to see the development of that game.
Thorsten dropping back. 3rd and long. Flag comes in. He looks for Morgan. Another really good ball where he's putting it where just his guy can catch it. But both guys in coverage, Ferguson and McFarland, were all over Mark Morgan. Hold's going to come in on the Warriors. I think it's Oliver Lupien who's booked with the call, because it was in a little bit of verbal altercation with the official. If you're Taylor, you got to decline this one, right? 4th and 10?
Yeah, they just declined that while you were talking, Luke, and I think that's the right call, absolutely. They've already been burned once not declining the penalty, so, learn from your mistakes.
Well, it looks like Mariemont's set to go for this down, and I don't know if I agree with this. I think at worst you put Taylor inside their 20-yard line with even a terrible punt at that point, but they're going to try to pick up the 4th and 10 at the same spot that they converted on 3rd and 15 and scored a touchdown with Glassmeyer. Fake screen pass, and this play is blown up even more than an incompletion would be. Taylor's now going to take over at the 45 with the lead, now with the ball, with a minute and a half to go. Coach Nick Leone needs his defense more than ever right now after that decision.
What a great play call by the Taylor defensive coordinator. Coach Drains might be in on that one as well, influencing the call. But that is a phenomenal blitz to dial up when Mariemont least expected. And now the Yellow Jackets get it with 2 timeouts practically at midfield to see what they can do. They could go 2 for 1, little Bill Belichick action here, getting the ball in the second half as well.
Now with 90 seconds left, this ball's underthrown. Oh, it was almost picked again by Glassmeyer. Will, on that 4th down play, we're going to take another look at it. It was a fake screen to Whitmore, but he is wide open, and I think could have picked up the 1st down if they just played it as a regular screen pass.
It's one of those.
Because they brought just an all-out blitz.
Oh yeah, they brought the all-out blitz, which is exactly what you dial up the screen for. So it's one of those things that even though it's called a fake screen, sometimes as a player you got to override that decision and do what's best for your team. Mariemont unable to do that there, and Dorston takes the sack.
They blitz here, and they get to McGowan. A flag comes in at the 45. It's in a very weird location. The intended receiver for the Jackets was DJ Handy, but it was Glassmeyer in coverage, and I think they might get him for holding or pass interference because the flag was nowhere near the line of scrimmage where a hold call could be possible.
You're right, Luke. It's got to be either offensive or defensive pass interference, and watching that play develop, I didn't see a thing from Handy and Glassmeyer on the sideline, so we'll see what the refs have here. I don't know.
They have it as offensive pass interference. I guess Handy just decided that he needed to push off in the flat as his check down. I don't even think McGowan was trying to throw it to him. I think he was just trying to throw it away. But now that's going to hurt the Jackets a lot because they started at the 45 with great field position. Now they're going to have to snap the football at the 34 right now. Bump them back 5 more because of the 15-yard penalty. Five wide as Royalty goes in motion. He's going to run a wheel route. I wish I knew who that ball was intended for, but J.D. Long was in coverage and almost got a fingertip on it.
I think it was intended for Aaron McFarland right there. Miscommunication. McFarland was running the curl route, and it looked like McGowan thought he was going to be running a straight fly up the middle. That's what it appeared like to me. It seemed like McFarland and McGowan had a bit of an exchange after that ball was incomplete, because I saw, McGowan looking for him down the field, McFarland just a little hitch route out of him up the middle. So I think it's just a simple case of miscommunication between quarterback and receiver there.
Yeah, I called Glassmeyer's touchdown 3rd and forever. This is 3rd and forever ever. Pressure gets to McGowan. He gets a throwaway, looking for McFarland. That was perfect coverage from Evan Morgan. He got booked in that same spot for pass interference earlier in this quarter. He was step for step with McFarland, and not only was he step for step, he got a finger on a very good throw from Jackson McGowan.
If I know anything about Evan Morgan and talking to him before this game about what he wanted to do on senior night, that guy's a competitor. So when he got burned in the first half, gets booked for pass interference, he's going to come out with a chip on his shoulder trying to come out and make a play. And now we're going to see the Warriors get the ball back. 2 timeouts. Hopefully they can get it back around the 35, 40-yard line. We'll see what they like to do.
Oh, they break through. Long alters the punt significantly, and this is getting even better for Mariemont. They're going to get it at the 31-yard line. Another senior stepping up and doing what he has done all throughout his football career at Kusel Stadium is J.D. Long. Probably the best defensive player on this Mariemont team, making an impact on special teams.
That's a phenomenal play by number 54, J.D. Long. Breaks right through the line and definitely influences the punt. I don't know if he officially got a block on that one, but that's all J.D. Long right there. Great play. And now the Warriors are in phenomenal position.
Well, we talked about we knew the ball was going to be turned over tonight. It was inevitable. We knew it's high school football. There's going to be botched punch, botched snaps, fumbles, all those mistakes. Well, there was just a big one right there in a timely manner. The Warriors decided to run it on 1st down, and the clock will just continue to run. But we said the winner of this game is going to be the team that can capitalize on others' mistakes. It was a mistake to go for it on 4th down from Mariemont last drive. That punt was a mistake from Taylor Special Teams. Mariemont needs to convert, and they're 0 for 2 on their first 2 downs of the drive. 3rd and long with 40 seconds coming up.
And this is where not having the receiver like Timmy Stewart hurts you a little bit, because Mariemont now struggling a little bit to get some offense going, but they don't have that big target to get him some surefire yardage. So we'll see what they dial up here on 3rd and long.
It would be really interesting if this is incomplete, because then I think they would definitely learn from last drive and punt it. But it could be the longest 2 minutes in football. Looking for Morgan on the sideline, had both Morgan and Whitmore. I don't know which one it was necessarily for. Dorston is frustrated with one of them.
Luke,
and now 4th and 9.
Luke,
what do you do?
You're going to hate me for this one.
You're going to go?
I think they should go for it. You've got 35 seconds on the clock. I don't love punting basically 20 yards. That doesn't really make much sense. And if you're Nick Leone, it's senior night. You're trying to win a football game out here. Let's go for it right now. Trust your senior, David Dorston. And they're going to listen to me. Let's see how this pans out.
Well, if it's senior night and you're trusting your senior, David Dorston, are you running the ball on 1st and 10 to start this drive with 50 seconds left? Because they blew 15 seconds of clock, which actually isn't going to hurt them now that they're down to 4th down. But I just feel like the aggressiveness isn't really adding up right now. Obviously, I do agree that you're not in a position of the field where a punt is typical. But what do you have on 4th and 9? Because you've had this down now 6 straight times going back to the last drive, and they haven't picked up a single yard on 1 2nd and long, 3rd and long, now 4th and long, and we saw what happened the last time they had 4th and long. What's your call?
I mean, you're 100% correct that they haven't gotten Dorston involved in the running game as much as we would have liked to see. They had Brown going early, which was one of our keys to the game on ICRC here, was to establish the run. They did a good job with Elliott Brown, but not so much with Dorston. And, here you're right. They've had a lot of chances to get this down consecutively, haven't been able to do it. I would actually like to see a shorter pass to one of the Morgan brothers here and then get him running out toward the 1st down rather than throwing it all the way.
They're going to roll Dorston out towards the Taylor sideline. He has a wide open Glassmeyer and a wide open Davis Whitmore. Looks like Evan Morgan got triple teamed all the way in the end zone. What a call by head coach Nick Leone. Well, if we're going to give him some scuff, that was a tremendous call to roll out Dorston to that side of the field. He had multiple options past the sticks, and they pick up the best one inside the 10, 1st and goal with 28.5 seconds left.
Absolutely. They had Glassmeyer, who we were looking at up here in the booth, but then ends up going to number 15, Davis Whitmore. Also just wide open, no one within. Looked like 5-10 yards of him. So great play call there, great execution. And now this is a big moment in this game. See if they can punch one in the end zone and take the lead before we go into the second half.
Yeah, look out for Davis Whitmore, Will. He hasn't been too much of a factor in the Warriors' offense this season, but he's been quiet. He has 3 catches for about 40 yards tonight. Dorston over the middle. Has Glassmeyer. He's bobbling it, eventually corrals it at about the 6 or 7. Warriors have 2 timeouts left, so they can burn one there. That's a good pickup. I mean, 3 yards, but you have the timeout, so you can keep it in bounds. But I think running the ball is eliminated now. Do you agree? Or do you? I think with 1 timeout, you could get away with it.
I think with 1 timeout, it's not eliminated per se. I know it's not, the most conventional call to run the ball with 20 seconds left inside the 5-yard line, or right on the 5-yard line, it looks like. But I wouldn't hate to see some sort of option play between Brown and Dorston here, see what they can pick up, and then take some shots at the end zone from there, use that last timeout. Because, I mean, really by throwing the ball, you're not going to ever use that timeout because you're not really going to throw anything short of the end zone at this point. So I actually, now that I think about it, don't hate a run play here, then burn the timeout, then give yourself a couple looks at the end zone. But there's multiple ways going about it.
Yeah, I think if they do a run play, I'd rather trust Dorston with the football.
Absolutely. Now we are seeing kicker Connor Jackson get warmed up on the sidelines here, so I guess kicking it is not out of the question. Obviously, you want to get a touchdown.
I think kicking is definitely the play if you get the 4th down because you can go into halftime with the lead, considering he drills the short field goal. He has Glassmeyer wide open, though, and Ryan Glassmeyer is filling up the stat sheet tonight. The Warriors capitalized on a very great play made by J.D. Longs in the special teams, and Ryan Glassmeyer, 2 touchdowns. Dorston, 2 touchdowns. Warriors lead 18-14 with 14 seconds left in the first half. This is a very exciting senior night. Back and forth they go.
That was a huge way to close out the half for the Warriors right there. Great route by Ryan Glassmeyer. He's wide open. Dorston able to hit him. So that's a great way to close out the half. A lot of momentum. Warriors have not got a 2-point conversion success tonight. We'll see what they can do here.
Yeah, this one would put them up 6. Well, a lot of credit to Nick Leone there. It seemed like every receiver who made a catch had a ton of space in front of them, and that's credit to him because his scheming style had all the receivers on one side of the field besides Glassmeyer. This play has been blown up since the snap. Dorston gets blown up all the way back to the 20-yard line. He's very frustrated. In on the stop was Brody Lenman. We've called his name multiple times tonight. But now 0 for 3 on 2-point tries. We hope that doesn't come back to bite Mariemont. But offensively, they've shown up tonight. 18 points in the first half.
They absolutely have shown up tonight. It's been a great performance so far out of Dorston. And you got to highlight Glassmeyer and Whitmore if you're going to talk about this offense because those guys have played a great game to start. But going back to those 0 for 3 on 2-point conversions, I mean, obviously it's not a huge deal. It's 2 points, but that's now 6 points they've given up. They could be 22, 24-14 going into the half, and instead, I mean, Taylor's only going to be down 4 as they go to halftime with the ball. So, I mean, you don't like to see that at all if you're Coach Nick Leone. You know they've got a couple 2-point conversion plays that they have dialed up in practice throughout the week, and clearly those aren't panning out. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite them, but it very well could. That's an ugly sight to see. You wonder when they might make the decision to start kicking the ball on the extra point, or if they're just going to keep digging themselves a bigger hole with the 2-point conversion until they finally get one.
It doesn't seem like too big of an issue right now, kind of like what you were saying. 18-14, they have the lead. Good spirits going into half. But this could be something, if Taylor scores right out of the half and then they're up 21-18, we go back to the decisions or the execution, if you will, and be like, this game could be tied right now even after a Taylor score if they just kick 3 straight extra points. They're going to squib it. It's caught at the 40-yard line by Brody Lemon.
I mean, I think it's one of those things. Me personally, I am a proponent of going for it after the touchdown most of the time. But you got to understand, if you like doing that, you're going to catch quite a bit of heat for it as a head coach when it doesn't work out like it hasn't tonight. So the math behind it, quite simply, is if you can get that two-point conversion 50% of the time, you should go for it. But tonight the Warriors have gotten it 0% of the time, so clearly not very effective so far.
Giving the coaching staff the benefit of the doubt, I don't know how confident they are in their kicking game. From what we've seen at home, Connor Jackson's actually looked pretty good. But the Warriors lead 18-14 as we wrap up the first half of play. Stick around for senior night festivities. Ryan Glassmeyer's got to be the player of the half. It's been a quarterback battle, and this one is far from over, Will. Stay around with ICRC-TV for the festivities, but also a very exciting second half of football yet to come. Warriors lead 18-14.
You and Trey to do 2-2 for this, or you just think one is fine? You sound pretty loud to me down here. I mean, I know the band's not playing, but I can hear you pretty good.
It works. It suddenly works.
Yeah, no, Trey's saying it's better too. That's completely random and magical. I don't know. That was just, where was that? I know, that's the creepy thing.
Good evening and welcome to Kusel Stadium for tonight's 2022 Senior Night Celebration for Band Cheer Football team members. The Athletic Department of Mariemont High School would like to thank these seniors for their years of hard work, perseverance, and commitment to the Warrior athletic traditions, and their parents for their support of their sons and daughters. From the band, Lou G, accompanied by parents Margaret and Brandon. Lou is the drum major and VP of the book club, member of Sound Crew, Creative Writing Club, Latin Club, and Environmental Club. Lou plans to attend OU for art history and plant biology. Noah Mart, accompanied by Father Kevin. Along with the golf team, Noah plays tennis for the Warriors. He's a CHL scholar athlete. He plans to study economics next year. Jerry O'Hara, accompanied by parents Julie and Paul and brother Charles. Jerry is also a member of the fall play, spring musical, Mariemont Pride, and the book club. He plans to major in stage management beginning next year. Jordan Rodriguez, accompanied by parents Casey and Danny. Jordan is a member of the track and basketball teams, Environmental Club, Book Club, Sources of Strength, and Creative Writing. Jordan is a CHL scholar athlete and plans to major in early childhood education or writing. Benner Rogers, accompanied by parents Heather and David. Benner is also a member of the tennis team, leader of Mariemont Pride, Tri-M, Cincinnati Youth Wind Ensemble, and a 1 rating in the District 14 Solo and Ensemble. He will study video game design and development next year. And now your golf warriors. Lainey Hurd, accompanied by parents Terry and Jason. Member of DECA, Spanish Club, NHS. A CHL scholar athlete, Lainey has placed 3rd and 4th in the CHL championships and is a 3-time district qualifier and has been first team All-District twice. Laney plans to major in marketing and Spanish. Luke Brenneman, accompanied by Polly and Tom. Luke is a member of the lacrosse program, Warrior Broadcasting, and the National Honor Society. He's first team All-State lacrosse and has been in the State Keeper of the Year. And honorable mention CHL in golf. Luke's plans include a major in broadcasting next year. Sam Northrup, accompanied by parents Carrie and Al. Sam is a member of the basketball team, Stock Club, Key Club, and Warrior Broadcasting. He is a CHL Scholar Athlete and has been named Honorable Mention CHL. Sam plans to attend IU to study finance. Thomas Sauter, accompanied by parents Piper and Steve. Thomas is also a member of the tennis team, Stock Club, and NHS. He's a CHL Scholar Athlete and has gotten second team CHL honors. Thomas plans on a finance or marketing degree. Our tennis seniors, Rachel Bull, accompanied by parents Jody and Rick. Along with tennis, Rachel's a member of the Warrior Swim Team. Rachel's a CHL Scholar Athlete and plans on attending a 4-year university next year. Reagan Gerhardt, accompanied by parents Melissa and Kyle and brother Reed. Reagan is also a member of Key Club, Spanish Club, SPA, NHS, and VP of Fundraising for DECA. Reagan is a sectional quarterfinalist and plans on majoring in marketing. Ava Hammond. Sophia Hunt, accompanied by parents Anita and Ken and brother Will. Sophia is a member of the Environmental Club, Sources of Strength, and NHS. Sophia plans to major in psychology in college. Sadie Coleman, also a member of the Art Club, Mandarin Club, Spirit Club, and NHS. Sadie is a CHL Scholar Athlete and plans to study entrepreneurship and international business. Julia McManus, accompanied by parents Leslie and Dan. Julie is a member of the Triumph Art Club, Book Club, Mariemont Theater, Showstoppers, and NHS. Julia plans to attend SCAD and study animation and story building. Lainey Rippertella, accompanied by parents Mary and Mario and sister Olivia. Lainey is also a member of the Warrior Lacrosse program, Sources of Strength, and Student Council. Lainey plans to major in international business in college. Caroline Solar, accompanied by grandparents Denny and Delane and sister Charlotte. Caroline is also a member of Lacrosse and Track and Ski Club, Student Council, Key Club, Sources of Strength, Spirit Club, and NHS. A CHS Scholar Athlete, she has been first team CHL Tennis, first team All-City, and All-State for lacrosse, and a lacrosse All-American. Caroline will attend UC to study business and play lacrosse. Peyton Wilhelm, accompanied by Tressa and Jamie. Peyton, also a member of Spirit Club, Mandarin Club, Art Club, NHS. Peyton's a CHL Scholar Athlete and has been second team CHL. Peyton plans to attend Alabama and study biology. Cross country seniors, Katie Connors, accompanied by mom Amanda Connors and siblings Sean and Abby. Katie's been a member of cross country, track, marching band, color guard, and student leadership. Katie plans on a future in environmental science. Elise Kelly, accompanied by Ginger and Brian. Elise is also a member of the track program, yearbook, Key Club, Leadership Council, Service Projects Abroad, the 1 and 5 Regional Youth Leadership Council, and NHS. She is a scholar athlete and was named the Enquire All-City Cross Country Team. Elise plans to major in communications or hospitality. Santi Biro, accompanied by Paula and James, and sister Isabel. Santi has played basketball and baseball and is a CHL scholar athlete with first and second team honors. He is 3-time regional qualifier and 2-time state qualifier. Santi plans to study political science or economics next year. Topher Smith, accompanied by parents Molly and Sean. Topher's member of the track program, Sources of Strength, Presidente of Film Club, and member of Set Crew for plays and musicals. He plans on a future in screenwriting and film. Bennett Turan, accompanied by parents Erica and Steve and sister Lorelei. Bennett has run track and cross country and been a member of Future Leaders in Medicine, Eagle Scout, NHS. He's a CHL scholar athlete, 2-time state cross country qualifier, district champ, and CHL runner of the year. Bennett holds the current cross country school record. He plans on majoring in health care related field. Our cheer seniors. Elise Gasky, accompanied by parents Melissa and John and brother Luke. Elise is a member of the Art Club, Digital Design Club, NHS, and a CHL scholar athlete. Elise plans to major in graphic design or visual communications. Izzy Gates, accompanied by her father Patrick and brother Nathan, member of Environmental Club. Izzy plans to attend Ohio State and study computer and informational science. Ava Hoffer, accompanied by Sarah and Paul and grandmother Madeline Krause. Along with cheer, Ava's a member of Mariemont Musical, serves as captain on this year's team. Ava plans heading south for college. Olivia McCann, accompanied by Kate and Joe and sister Sydney. Along with cheer, Olivia is a member of Spring Musical and plans to attend Miami, Ohio with an education major. Mia Ramundo, accompanied by Kristen and Robert, grandparents John and Connie, and brother Carlo. Mia is also a member of the Spring Musical Tri-M NHS. She is president of Spirit Club, a 4-year cheer All-American and 2-year CHL champion. Mia will study communications. Tierney Rasmussen, accompanied by Sheila and Eric and her siblings. Tierney is also a member of Cappy's Latin Club Fall Play, Spring Musical, Tri-M, and president of the International Thespian Society. Tierney will pursue a BFA in musical theater. Football seniors. First, Evan Morgan. Evan, accompanied by parents Janet and Steve, and siblings Nina, Ava, and Mark. Along with football, Evan's a member of lacrosse, Key Club, Spirit Club, NHS, CHS scholar athlete, has been all-regional and all-Ohio player of the year in lacrosse. Evan plans to attend a 4-year university. Timmy Ackerman, accompanied by Amy and Ted and sister Julia. Along with football, Timmy is a member of DECA, Sources of Strength, NHS, and is a CHL scholar athlete. Timmy plans on a business or science major. Matthew Asher, accompanied by parents Aaron and Chad, grandparents Gail and Matt, and brother Alexander. He is a 2-year member of the Warrior football program. Matthew will begin an apprenticeship with Houston Electric after graduation. Kiefer Burton, accompanied by Marcia and Jim and sister Mallory. Kiefer served as captain on this year's football team and plans on sports management major in college next year. David Dorston, accompanied by parents Stacy and Rick and sisters Emma, Eva, and Sinclair. David is also a member of Lacrosse DECA Key Club and selected for the West Point Leadership Seminar. He's a two-time CHL selection and will major in business and finance next year. Harry Dunn, accompanied by Kimberly and James. Along with football, Henry is a member of the lacrosse team. Henry has received CHL honorable mention recognition in football and plans to major in chemical engineering. London Hiltgen, accompanied by Tony and brother Roman. London is also a member of Warrior Track and Student Council. He plans on being a combat medic in the U.S. Army. Number 4, Connor Jackson, accompanied by Tisha and Sean. Connor's been a member of soccer and tennis at Mariemont. He also plans to attend UC to major in business. Mike Libby, accompanied by Cher and Nick. Mike is also a member of the track team, marching band, pep band, Latin club. Mike plans on being a law major next year. Number 54, J.D. Long, accompanied by parents Wendy and Greg and his brother, a 2014 grad, Sam. J.D.'s a member of the baseball program, band, and basketball. J.D.'s been recognized as honorable mention All-City in baseball and second team CHL in football. He plans to study conservation and criminal justice in college. Max Mershon, accompanied by Patricia and Mark. Max is also a member of the baseball program, chess club, NHS. Max is a CHL scholar athlete and plans to attend the Ohio State University to study finance and chemistry. Owen Metz, accompanied by Amber and Scott and siblings Evie, Hunter, and Isabel. Owen is also a member of the baseball program and NHS. He's a CHL scholar athlete and received honorable mention in baseball. He plans on majoring in chemical engineering. Mark Morgan, accompanied by Janet and Steve, siblings Nina, Ava, and Evan. Mark is also a member of the lacrosse program, Stock Club, Key Club, Spirit Club, and DECA. A CHL scholar athlete, he's received second team CHL in football and first team all-region in lacrosse. Mark plans on majoring in finance in college. And number 17, Tim Stewart, accompanied by parents Molly and Chuck and brother Chip and sister Sarah. Tim is also a member of the basketball program, has received first team all-league honors, as well as first team all-state in basketball. Tim's plans include a 4-year university next year. Thank you to all of our seniors and families for helping make Mariemont athletics great. The power, strength, and power of Mariemont is the heart of a warrior. Thank you again to the players, cheerleaders, band, and parents.
On air or online, this is media for your community. This is ICRC-TV.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Your house a reality. homeschooling yourself on loans, color-coding listings, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. If you can ace house hunting, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
Play Eric Almirola's Race Day Mix.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On air or online. This is media for your community. This is ICRC-TV.
There's no better feeling than to be a part of a fire department. This is a family.
Police officer, it's a great job. It really is. You never know what you're going to get. You never know who you're going to help.
We're forgetting what's going on outside. We're focusing on what's going on in here, and we're all family.
This idea of a family academy, connecting families to talk about relevant issues.
Unbelievable. Milford has stormed all the way back in this football game. The Warriors in the state finals! State finals! Ohio Wesleyan, here we go!
And it's up to every one of you all to keep this going and carry the torch. I hope you will do that. Thank you.
ICRC-TV.
Roll over. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. And your mother. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to ICRC-TV Sports. Three-pointer. Got it! What a goal! Mariemont going to the championship!
I hear someone go, "Didn't it come from you guys?"
Strangers cough at me.
Move away from me.
Someone spit towards my direction. All the stereotypes that we've worked so hard to break are just going to be reversed. And I won't let that happen.
We all have to play our part.
I donate my plasma.
I've been making masks.
We deserve respect as much as everybody else.
I'm a firefighter, not a virus.
I'm a mask maker, not a virus.
I'm a nurse.
I'm a delivery woman, chef, a neighbor, artist,
Bus driver.
I'm a doctor.
Fight the virus. Fight the virus.
Freedom. It's at the core of who we are. The freedom to live without fear, to jog where we please, to wear a hoodie. The freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now I'm anything but lonely.
We have this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
Every day with turtle is a perfect day.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet,
we discover
they're a little bit of a lot of things,
but they're all pure love.
or online. This is media for your community. This is ICRC-TV.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover their unique mix of all kinds of traits.
Where'd Wiley go? Where's Wiley? Ah, there she is. Paw?
Do you remember being an ancient wolf? Do you ever feel the call of the wild?
You're a renegade cop, and I'm a con woman with nothing to prove. But together, we could really solve this murder. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but all of them are pure love.
As we wait for kickoff.
Play between Mariemont and Taylor. The Warriors currently lead 18-14 after the first half of play, but Will, we left you guys and said it was far from over. We talked about the quarterback battle. It's been very entertaining to watch. Mariemont 3 scores, just 18 points though. What would you say was the key to their success in the first half?
I mean, I can't look anywhere else except for the Dorston to Glassmeyer connection. They were firing on all cylinders in the first half. You know, Mariemont not able to get the ground game involved as much as we would have liked, but it didn't really matter the way they were throwing the ball. Dorston with a great first half, and he found Glassmeyer quite frequently on the routes that he was running.
And then, Will, we talked about do or die, win or go home, win and you get in if you're a Yellow Jacket. What does Taylor need to do in the second half, which they're going to start with outstanding field position?
You know, we talked at the top of this broadcast about limiting the turnovers. They did throw 2 interceptions in that first half, none of which I would particularly say were McGowan's fault. But really, you know, the way that they've run the ball in this game, I think that it would be hard for me to say that their success comes anywhere except for the run game with Royalty. He's been so dominant on the ground. I'd like to see the Yellow Jackets make Mariemont stop them before they go anywhere else.
The Yellow Jackets will start the third quarter and second half of play with a run. And that was a lot of what we saw in the first half, Will. Ryan Glassmeyer running James Royalty out of bounds after about 20 yards.
And quite frankly, it seems like all night, the best they've been able to do, as you just said, is either wrap tackle him from behind or just push him out of bounds. Because one-on-one, Royalty is making guys miss everywhere. They cannot get a clean tackle on that guy right now.
They give it to him once again. He runs past a few, has an opening. Across the 20, they're going to get Handy for a hold at about the 15, which is going to limit Royalty's enormous run. Mariemont gets bailed out a little bit there because I don't even think that hold was necessary, Will.
It's really never necessary when you've got a guy like Royalty, you know, running the football. It seems like they could just put him out in the open field and let him do work all day. But, you know, just a mistake by the Yellow Jackets there. You want to see them limit the penalties in the second half.
To replay first down here from about the 36-yard line. We didn't see much of McGowan in the first half outside of a very nice throw to McFarland for a touchdown. Wow, James Royalty crosses the 30. He's tackled right on the sticks.
And that's that same play they ran for their second touchdown of the game, was that little pitch play sideways to Royalty. It seems like that's going really well for them so far in this game, is that little get the outside of the line involved and run to the left side.
Taylor, up-tempo. They snap it quick. Back to Royalty. Takes about the entire Warrior defense to bring this guy down. Let's take another look at this first down run, Will. I think there could have been a hold on the Yellow Jackets.
Oh, absolutely. It looks like J.D. Long gets held by number 55, Braxton Buffler. That's a name and a half right there. The sophomore. Looked like he got him on the shoulder, and as he was trying to make the tackle, looked like a missed call by the refs.
Hey guys, the coaches want from the CNE score.
CNE is down 10 now, 31-21. So Williams Stuart Wells on the play for the
Stuart Wells stands up the Jackets after a pickup of just 1 yard. Ball is spotted at the 24-yard line. Warrior defenses seem to crumble every time they take a lead. Taylor has done a very nice job of bouncing back. Bouncing to the outside is James Royalty. He's dragged down after the first down pickup by the Warrior defender, Jack Simpson. Haven't called the freshman's name too much tonight. That's because this offensive line from the Jackets has done a very nice job of neutralizing the pass rush of Lawson Wade, Owen Metz, Jackson Simpson, and others on the Warrior defensive line.
Absolutely, and the battle in the trenches on the O&D line is one that we're going to watch closely here in this second half as we see which team can establish the run game.
And that's a James Royalty touchdown. This guy is filling up the stat sheet right now. Taylor now takes the lead 20-18. That drive looked effortless. Taylor right down the field on the first drive of the half, and they retake the lead, which we talked about. They've just been doing all night. Both these teams, quarterbacks, even running backs, going blow for blow, lead back to the Yellow Jackets.
So
Grau knocks it through.
So we're seeing two conflicting strategies here from the Warriors and the Yellow Jackets. The Warriors choosing to go for it on these two-point conversions. The Yellow Jackets opting for the field goals, or the extra points, excuse me. And so far that's worked in Taylor's favor, up by 3, strictly due to those extra points they've been kicking. So we'll see how Nick Leone adjusts the strategy in the second half.
And each team scored 3 touchdowns, but Taylor leads by 3. Well, do you think it's just them wanting to go for 2 or not trusting Connor Jackson, the kicker?
I think it's got to be them wanting to go for 2, and I think it's just that aggressive mindset that the Warriors have. Because from everything I've seen, Connor Jackson looks very solid kicking the football, and I think they're just trying to go out there, trust their offense, make some plays, and so far it hasn't happened. But I'd like to see them honestly stick with this strategy because when you think about it, the mathematics, statistically, if you have confidence in that strategy, you have to stick with that strategy. You can't just bail out of it. So I'd like to see Coach Leone stick with that through the second half, even though it hasn't worked so far.
I mean, they've been loading the scoreboard with points. 3 touchdowns in the first half. They might be out of plays from the 3-yard line. They kick it away. Both teams use the same style of kicking. Elliott Brown scoops it up for the Warriors, makes a man miss. Flag comes in late. Deaton, the junior, was in on the stop on Elliott Brown. Excuse me, I don't think a flag came in. Must have been one of those fall leaves.
Yeah, seriously, they make it
catching
very
my
confusing out on the field. I don't know if you guys can see it on the
look
broadcast.
at that shot. They can definitely see it there.
100%. You can see how it might be confusing when flags come into play because it looks like you got about 100 of them on the field right now between these leaves.
All right, now it's Dorston's first test of the half. Let's see if he can respond to an impressive drive from the Jackets. They give it to Duckwall here, who we haven't seen much of. We know he's been beat up with the hand. Ethan Brock, the freshman defensive lineman from the Yellow Jackets.
Tackett on the play for Taylor. One of the first ones there.
Tackett was also in on the stop. Jackets were all over Duckwall, about 3 of them. Ball is now spotted at the 36-yard line, 2nd and 11. Duckwall stays in the game. I thought Elliott Brown's played very nice tonight.
I really do, and I was kind of surprised to see in the second quarter, after all the success he had in the first quarter, they didn't really get him involved as much as I would like to have seen after success in the first quarter as the flag comes in on the play.
Heights defense. It's a dead ball penalty, so it'll be 2nd and 7.
A flag actually comes in on this play. They're going to get McFarland on the offsides call on the far side of the field. I hate how they don't let you play the down in high school football on offsides. Typically, that's a free play.
It's one of the most exciting things, I think, when you watch professional football is that free play that they get when the guy jumps off sides. And it is, you're right, it is kind of strange that they don't reward you for getting a guy to jump off sides in high school football. But
Dorston, quick throw on the play action. This one is right at Whitmore's ankles.
Passing complete to Whitmore, 3rd down.
In coverage was Jones Royalty, so he's doing it on both sides of the football. About 3rd and medium, favoring the longer side here from the 41. The sticks are placed at the 47. Warriors would love to get there, now trailing 21-18 with 8:11 to go in the 3rd quarter.
this is a large 3rd down for the Warriors, trying to see if they can respond to Taylor's opening touchdown in this 2nd half. We'll see what they dial up here. I'd like to see a quick hitter over the middle.
Glassmeyer in motion. Dorston steps up, is pressured, and he's dropped. Combining on the sack was Braxton Buffler, also with DJ Handy. And they came and got right up on Dorston as he stepped up in the pocket, and the Warriors have to punt.
So this is why I just talked about wanting to see that quick hitter over the middle, because that play, they've got guys streaking 10, 15, 20 yards down the field. It just takes too long to develop. By the time those receivers come open, Dorston's already being swallowed by the Yellow Jacket defenders, and that's happened a lot tonight is that sack.
Very high snap, and Dorston gets away a great punt considering the circumstances. The ball's going to be down at the 31-yard line. Well, I was surprised he even got the punt off.
That's actually the 3rd very impressive play that David Dorston has made on the special teams unit so far in this game. It's an underrated part of football, I tell you what, and that is very impressive to see him making plays like that. Just an incredible athlete, Mr. Dorston is.
Dude has definitely left his mark on Mariemont football. He was one of the best linebackers before he was converted to the starting quarterback when it was the Andrew Glassmeyer era of Mariemont football. The quarterback got hurt, and now he's back for senior year. He's also playing defense. They run it to James Royalty. And the Mariemont defense is treating him like royalty, not even touching him until he picks up 10, 11, 12. That one 14 yards.
And you know what, Luke, we've talked about Royalty's success all game, and he really has played a phenomenal game. I've been very impressed watching it. But at some point, we got to talk about the battle on the O-line. And the Taylor O-line's done a great job in this game as we see him run the ball again.
Great play by multiple Warriors. J.D. Long in the mix, Owen Metz as well. Jack Simpson. It takes more than one guy to take down LJR.
As I was... I can't get over the LJR that Luke just made up. That's a great nickname for him. Maybe he picks that up as the season goes on. Or
he might already have it.
He might. That might not be too original, actually. But, I mean, Luke did just think of that, to be fair. So
shout out Mr. Eaton. Mr. Eaton texted me. Simpson tries to get McGowan by the shoelaces. He misses him. But having his back is Connor Jackson, the defensive back. Also with Evan Morgan, a flag comes in late. I'm interested to see what this is. McGowan was tackled at the 47-yard line, right on his sideline. Connor Jackson is getting an earful. Personal foul. It's going to be on Connor Jackson. Jackson immediately ran across the field to his sideline. I'm sure he was flagged over by one of the coaches. Very upset with the play he made. I didn't get to see it. I want to say it was just a late hit, but it didn't look from our angle like McGowan was fully out of bounds yet.
You know, I couldn't get a great look at it as it was on the far side of the field, but clearly a blatant foul by Connor Jackson there, being that the Warriors coaching staff was very upset with him.
They pitch it to McFarland. What a play, J.D. Long. shooting right through the gap and getting McFarland down at the 34-yard line for a loss of 2.
That is one of the more athletic plays you will see from a linebacker in the game of football, J.D. Long. I mean, he is one of the more athletic linebackers you will see, so I guess it makes sense, but that's a phenomenal play jumping into the backfield.
Mariemont defense needs to pick up some momentum after a big play like that. Need to string together stops. They give it to Royalty. He has a hole. Evan Morgan takes him down, but yet again, a first down for the Taylor Yellow Jackets behind their freight train running back, LJR.
I mean, Royalty has just been so impressive in this game, and I'm waiting to see Mariemont mix up the strategy, because every time it looks like they get a stop at the line of scrimmage, the very next play is they're just going to run it for 10, 15 yards. So we'll see if there's some sort of strategy adjustment that has to be made, because this has gotten pretty ugly so far in this game in terms of Royalty running the football.
Evan Morgan, the Warrior, cramping on the field. That's what a team that just pounds you on the ground will do to your defense. Taylor's been more physical. Their offensive line winning the line of scrimmage. We're giving all the credit to Royalty, Will, but you brought up a very good point a couple of drives ago when you said at some point it might just be this Taylor offensive line, because they've shown up tonight. I still don't even think it's possible that they came into this game averaging just 62 rushing yards a game. They're picking up 62 per drive.
I mean, the people on the CHO website, a lot of credit to them. They do a great job. That might be a typo for all we know, because this is one of the best rushing performances I've ever seen in person in a game of football. So this has been truly remarkable so far.
He came into this game with just 3 touchdowns, 298 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. He also can catch it a little bit, has 20 catches on the year. But Leland Jones Royalty is doing his thing tonight.
You know, while we have a second here, Luke gave a shout out to our broadcasting teacher, runner of WBN, Mr. Eaton, earlier for that LJR nickname. Great thinking by him, but truly an honor for him to be out here along with ICRC, giving us the opportunity to call this game. You know, they do a phenomenal job and just provide great opportunities for students all year long, really.
Yeah, well, I don't know too many high school kids that get the opportunities that we do. It's an incredible production crew, great people. Throwing in the double coverage is McGowan. Was this ball picked? The referee says he stepped out of bounds. It was Ryan Glassmeyer and Whitmore both in coverage. Now we're starting to see, with a decision like that, why McGowan has a touchdown to interception ratio that benefits the wrong side.
Absolutely. He's throwing the ball out there looking for a receiver up top. Looked like it was McFarland that he was looking for, and it was Whitmore in coverage. But then he's got the high safety Ryan Glassmeyer coming in over the top, making it double coverage, as now the Yellow Jackets get booked for a false start.
McFarland is booked for the false start on the far side of the field. Makes 3rd and what was 7, about 3rd and 12 now, yes. See what McGowan has. Long, showing blitz up the hole. He brings it. They're going to run it on 3rd and 12. Connor Jackson is ran right by. One man to beat. Royalty, touchdown, Jackets. Gutsy call on 3rd and long. But they've been doing what they've done best all night, and that is feed Leland Jones Royalty.
And I got to tell you what, Luke, I love the call. I love the play call. I know it's 3rd and 12. I know it's not conventional. But so far in this game, if there's one thing you've done well, it's run the football with Royalty. And I love the play call. Gets the job done just like he has all night. And the Yellow Jackets take the lead.
Be a false start before the kick. Will, I brought this up at the end of the first half. Didn't seem like too big of a problem when Mariemont had an 18-14 lead. But now back-to-back scores from the Jackets. If Mariemont kicks 3 extra points, considering they make all of them in the first half, this is still a 1-score game. Now it's about to look like a 10-point game if he knocks it through. Oh, it's actually blocked. Nice play by London Hilchin, the senior. But it's still a two-possession game nonetheless. Hopefully the Warriors can pick up some momentum after that special teams play. Taylor leads 27-18. Going into the half with the lead, there was a lot of energy. The senior night festivities. And Jones royalty has sucked it out at Kusel Stadium.
I mean, if there's one thing in the game of football that will drain the home crowd's energy, it is watching someone pound the football right down the throat of your defense. And that's exactly what Taylor has done to start this second half and really throughout the game. So it's really deflating for the Warriors, and they're going to have to find a way to bounce back and battle this adversity, down 2 scores with 4 minutes left to go in this third quarter.
Been an exciting game. Will, we talked about C.J. Hester's numbers. Royalty, 26 carries, 273 yards, and 3 touchdowns tonight. And he's going to get the ball a lot more, considering they're now up 2 possessions. Still 4.5 left in just the third quarter. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes over 350? Is he flirting with 400 at this rate?
I was going to ask you the same question, Luke. I mean, it's basically a foregone conclusion that he's going to get to 300 at this point in the game, but I think we might have to keep our eyes on the 400 number now that Taylor's up 2 possessions. If this game stays at this rate, I think the big 400 could be in play for Mr. Royalty.
Well, just so you know, if he runs for 400 tonight, he will surpass his season total coming into this football game of 398 rushing yards. Wow, what a night for LJR.
And the Warriors would love nothing more than to spoil LJR's party and the Taylor Yellow Jackets trip to the playoffs in this fourth quarter. So we'll see what they can do with the home crowd willing them to victory.
Seems like this is the point, time in games, when David Dorston starts to take over for this Mariemont offense. He stood up at the line of scrimmage. Great play by Mike Branch.
Mike Branch with the sack there.
Looked like a QB keeper to Dorston. He's dropped at the 39-yard line. Well, this is almost must score if you ask me. The defense hasn't looked great all night. They have really not looked great in the second half, giving up back-to-back touchdown drives. Mariemont needs some points on the board, get the crowd going a little bit, and bring some momentum back to Kusel Stadium.
Absolutely, and one thing to monitor on this drive is receiver Evan Morgan, who's been filling in for Tim Stewart throughout this game. He's on the sideline right now, stretching out that cramp that we saw him get earlier, and he's a big absence for this Warrior offense.
A flag comes in right at the snap. Dorston finds Metz on the near sideline. Metz just dragging Ferguson. He stepped out at about the 43-yard line. The flag is going to be on Mariemont that came in mid-play. I was surprised they even let the play happen there, Will. Illegal formation on Mariemont. The flag was thrown right as the ball was snapped, too, so it wasn't like they noticed it late.
Yeah, that's a strange decision. I mean, it's one of those things where if the play has already been snapped by the time the flag comes out, I guess you just let them play on and see what happens. You know you're going to call the penalty anyway, but it is weird they let that ball play out, or that play out. And that situation where someone gets hurt, you feel really guilty as a referee because you had the power to stop the play earlier, but luckily just nothing but a 5-yard loss.
Warriors run a screen, nothing doing.
Taylor stiffs out the screen as Dorston gets rid of the ball.
Doing a really good job of snuffing out that screen was Brody Lemon. Just a sophomore. I've called his name multiple times tonight. And they might get David Dorston for grounding right here, Will, because there's a flag right on the 21-yard line, and that's where Dorston seemed to have just spiked the ball into the ground. I thought Brown was a closest receiver. Let's see if they make the call. They're going to pick up the flag, Will. That is the right call. from our view up here, and we have a much better view than, I would even say, the people on the field. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. We see them, looking for this little check down play, Dorston, and as you say, I think it is the right call because this play gets blown up. But yeah, you see the receiver out there. It's going to be number 20, Elliott Brown, that he was looking for. So clearly the right call there. There was definitely a receiver in the area.
3rd and long. We've seen crazier tonight on 3rd down from the Warriors. Dorston over the middle. He's picked off. Going the other way with it is Brady Lanham. Across the 30. Now across the 20. Dorston runs him out of bounds, and it's going to be a late hit. Lanham had stepped out, and Dorston shoves out some frustration. And that's a costly mistake, both on the interception and the late hit. And everything is going in the Jackets' direction in the second half of play.
I mean, that is a classic case of just compounding the error. Let's see Dorston's ball here, looking over the middle, and it's just not a good ball, not a quality spiral that we normally see out of David Dorston. It's picked off by number 2, Brady Lamb, as Luke said. And then, yeah, at the end of the play, he's clearly given himself up, going out of bounds, and David Dorston just takes, honestly, it's a cheap shot, knocking him out of bounds at the end of the play. And you can see that's just frustration right there from Dorston. He's clearly very upset with the decision that he made and the ball that he threw, as now we see Coach Daniel Simons trying to condole him on the sidelines.
And that's got to be frustrating, Will. If you're Dorston, you had your team moving at half, had the lead, the defense got ran over by this guy right here. Picks up about 5. They're going to spot the ball at the 6-yard line, so a pickup of 4, and it's getting a little chippy inside the 10-yard line.
I got to be honest, at this point in the game, Luke, I think that the Warriors have to keep him out of the end zone. I really think they do. If you give him a touchdown at this point, you're in a lot of trouble. And on this Warriors defense, it's one thing they haven't been able to do all night is stop the run. And that's going to be a big factor of why Royalty has had so much success and why the Warriors are down in this football game.
Royalty has got to be smelling number 4 right now. 3 touchdowns, not even through 3 quarters of play. They're going to give it to him, and it's going to come back. Movement before the snap. That's a big call because now it's 2nd and goal from the 10 or even 11. We saw Royalty pick up a first down on 3rd and 12. Actually scored a touchdown on 3rd and 12. But 2nd and 11 is a lot more appealing to a Warriors defense and coaching staff than 2nd and goal from the 5. They hand it to him here. Bouncing outside. One man to beat, and he just shoves off Evan Morgan and walks into the end zone. Number 4 for Jones Royalty, putting on a clinic at Kusel Stadium. Taylor leads 33-18.
I mean, what a phenomenal play. As we see here, I talked about this earlier at the start of the game. I noticed it with Royalty, the patience as a runner. He gets to the line of scrimmage, then gives him just a nice little stutter step to see where his hole is, what his options are, eventually chooses to bounce it to the outside and gets to the far pylon for a touchdown. Just a great play and a very mature runner is the senior Royalty.
That's pretty good.
34-18. Royalty was counting out right in front of his face with his fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. We saw Alvin Kamara do that. What did he have? 6 touchdowns on Christmas Eve last year in the NFL. I wouldn't count Royalty out for that at that clip. But the Warriors need to respond right now. Interception from Dorston last drive. Defense. We've seen what's happened to them so far in the 3rd quarter. What a game. Taylor offensive line deserves a lot of credit because you talked about Royalty's patience, but you don't get to be patient as a running back unless you trust your offensive line and they give you the time to see holes and gaps to fire through. I remember when Le'Veon Bell was in his prime with the Pittsburgh Steelers, he used to walk up to the line of scrimmage and then just find a hole and pick up 13 yards. And then when he went to the New York Jets, there was no more walking up to the line because he was getting hit before he could take 2 steps. So a ton of credit to the Jackets offensive line. A ton of credit to the coaching staff because something has changed tonight that we haven't seen all season long. Royalty on that drive passes his season career total in just one night. So tons of credit to him. Evan Morgan on the return gets stopped at the 31-yard line. 1st and 10. Dorston looks to respond. Will, what do you think he needs to do?
You know, I think it's just a matter of staying within himself. You know, he's obviously a phenomenal athlete, phenomenal player, but he's just got to do and control what he can control. So I think if he stays disciplined, you know, stays within himself, just makes the routine plays, does everything correctly, he doesn't necessarily need a big shot right now down the field. If he can just get everything going, get some momentum on the Warriors' side, they should be in good position. But they do need to put some points on the board late in this game.
Yeah, they're still only down 2 possessions. I mean, they've gone for 2 every single time tonight, so I wouldn't expect anything differently. Now they actually have to go for 2. Andrew Duckwall, I think Dorston got his own teammate with the hard count there. It's going to back him up 5 yards.
That's one of those things that's going to really infuriate a coach, especially the way that I know Nick Leone. He's going to be very upset with that. Just because you're going hard count trying to gain an extra 5 yards, and instead you back yourself up because your offensive line can't control themselves and jump the snap count.
David has some time, steps up, and is dropped. In on the tackle, Adam Taylor. Everyone is chipping in on the Taylor defensive line. It looked like Dorston had time there. He tried to step up, make something happen. And Mariemont is going the wrong direction. Ball now spotted at the 22-yard line. 2nd and 19.
You know, David Dorston there, we were just talking about trying not to force things. And if you're David Dorston, you're 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. You have a great pocket presence out there. There's really no need to step up to make a play. Just sit there. You know, you might have to take a hit, but you're going to get that ball off and make a play. No need to try and force anything.
They roll him out. He just has to send this one away. This play looked dead before it even started. It looked like a QB keeper by the way David played it. Then all the receivers were already hugging the sideline by the time he got free from the pass rush. 3rd and 19. Things are going downhill in a hurry as we approach the end of the 3rd quarter. Dorston in the shotgun. They need a big pickup here. He throws it to Morgan, who's open. Oh, this one falls through the hands of Mark Morgan. It was a little underthrown, Will, but it was a catchable ball from our point of view. They have to punt in this situation.
Yeah, you know, it looks like Dorston just a touch underthrown, as you said. Would have liked to see a better ball out of him, yes. But also on the other end, Morgan definitely got 2 hands on it. Could have caught that football.
We've seen some trouble with the snaps recently on back-to-back punts. This one's clean from J.D. Long. Oh, my gosh, David Dorston looked like he was going to keep it there. I was mid-sentence about to say he was going to fake it, and once again, he turns just another blown-up punt into a good punt as this ball is down at exactly the 35-yard line. It's where McGowan's going to take over. Should almost start saying royalty is going to take over.
I mean,
I think he's gained the crown, if you will, of the Taylor offense tonight.
Very well put, Luke. And you know what? You're right, because it looks like McGowan, we talked about him being the leader in passing yards in the CHL, and he's obviously had a solid game. But, I mean, it looks like mostly his job in this one is catch ball, turn around, hand ball to royalty, and that's the formula for this Taylor offense so far.
They hand it to him again here. J.D. Long combines with Mark Morgan and London Hilgen on the stop. And this is going to run us to the end of the 3rd quarter of play. When we come back for the 4th quarter, it'll be a 2nd and 5 from the 41-yard line. Taylor won the 3rd quarter and some, Will. Came out of the locker room with a ton of energy, momentum, and they have ran all over the Mariemont Warriors and played great defense. We'll be back with the fourth. Taylor leads 34-18.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right, because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign, not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Guys to make him actually hit the deck. On the tackle by Morgan, he just stood him up and got him down by contact, or forward progress is what some people call him. First down from the 49. Oh, this ball's fumbled. McGowan did not handle the snap properly. That would have been an enormous boost for Mariemont. But he picks up his own fumble, loses 5 yards. It's crazy to say that 2nd and 15 doesn't even seem like a throwing down, or at least something that they can't pick up in one play if they run the football.
To be quite honest, I don't really know what does seem like a throwing down right now if you're the Taylor Yellow Jackets. It seems like it'd be a safe bet handing it off to Royalty every time and just taking your chances doing that.
So about the one guy that doesn't lead in a position player category that coming into this game is that guy right there. Across the 40 he goes, and some. All the way down to the 27-yard line is Jones Royalty. I say 2nd and 14, 2nd and 15 is what it was. Didn't seem possible to pick up on the ground. Let's try picking up even more and more and more. This guy just keeps proving us wrong. He scored a touchdown on 3rd and 12.
So, ladies and gentlemen, with that run, Leland Jones Royalty has officially eclipsed the 300-yard mark in this game. What an accomplishment, as he now sets his sights on 350, possibly 400 if all goes well at the end of this game.
Picks up 3 on the first down carry. Taylor can now just take their time and bleed out this clock. One more touchdown here, Will, I would say, if this one's not already done, would officially stick the dagger.
I mean, you never say never, especially with David Dorson and this Warriors offense, but it would certainly be quite an accomplishment if they were to come back if any other score happens to occur.
Breaking a few tackles, now down to the 2-yard line is Royalty. Will, before the snap, He had his hands on his knees and his head down, just gasping for air. And then he puts it into a different gear right as he gets the ball. Offensive line once again gave him a great hole, but he's just shooting the gaps.
So right before that snap, we received official word it was at 3:29. That's about 26 yards right there. Call it 355 yards for Leland Jones royalty. What a performance. Shout out to Mr. Tom Brenneman for the official stats keeping there and providing us with the yardages and the stats for Jones royalty tonight.
He takes a break on this play, and it's about the one tackle for a loss Mariemont has gotten in the second half. Lawson Wade
Big Lawson Wade gets back behind the line of scrimmage for
drops Anthony Kerr at the 5-yard line. Well, this is coming in the last few minutes of the season. It looks like to be the Warriors because Taylor, it's win and you're in. And they've shown up in the second half. They got the memo. Now, I don't even feel like faulting the Warriors too much. This has just been a dominant performance from a running back and an offensive line and just an entire unit that seems to be on sync right now. In sync. They pitch it to Kerr. Flag comes in. Andy stood up. It's going to be a hold. Maybe it's not the offensive line, Will. The two downs that royalty hasn't been in, they haven't treated Kerr with too much royalty. I think I'm wearing that out.
Yeah, you might have to abandon that one after a couple of uses, but it was good the first time. And you know what? I think you're right. You know, I mean, royalty's been phenomenal in this game. I wonder if it's the last game of the season. They might be trying to get Kerr a score. He might not have one so far this year. They might be trying to punch one in with him as we see a hold go against Taylor here.
Wow, they're actually going to decline this penalty. Well, I actually disagree with that decision considering it's still a two-possession game right now. And if you accept it, it only makes a field goal try if they end up getting Taylor to fourth down that much harder. Because any type of point, even if it's 1 point, makes this a three-possession game. So I would have liked the aggressive attempt. They're going to pitch it to royalty. When they need yards, they get yards. Right on the pylon, the referee throws up his hands in the air. That is not 1, not 2, not 3. Well, we're skipping 4, 5 touchdowns for Leland Jones royalty. 40-18, Jackets lead.
I mean, as a color commentator, your job is to provide insight, provide a reason for what is happening on the field right now. There is no matter, no reason for what is going on in this game with royalty. This is a guy who was basically ineffective throughout the entire year, and he shows up tonight. He's been dominant. He looks like royalty in the form of King Henry out there for the Tennessee Titans. I mean, it's remarkable. I don't know what to say about his performance except for the fact that my jaw is on the floor right now.
Well, I actually think I know what happened. They took C.J. Hester, the Wyoming running back, and gave him a Taylor uniform. Because tell me how this math adds up. So what did we say he was around, probably after that carry, 410, 415?
A little less than that. I think it's like
315.
It's more. It's
like 370.
370. After it was 315, 310 going into that drive. Then he decided to run for 60 more. So
Taylor has surpassed in one game with one running back. They have now multiplied. They average 62 yards per game. They have 6x'd that number in one game with one back.
I mean,
this isn't like a two-headed snake coming at you with an A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones. This is one guy.
This is crazy.
I mean, it's my last game calling a Warrior football. It's my last time calling a Warrior football game on ICRC, and it stinks as a Mariemont student that they may end up losing this game. But 41-18, it's been exciting.
I can't confidently say that I've seen this many points put up in a Warriors football game between the two teams combined so far this year. And we've still got football to play. It's been a thriller at Kusel Stadium today.
Ryan Glassmeyer fields the kick. Shoots it up the hole, is tackled at the 31-yard line. Well, now with 7:20 left, it's still too early to call it over, but I would just like to see Dorston try to get some momentum for Mariemont's offense. This could be coming down to the final drive led by David Dorston in a Warrior uniform, some other players on the offense. Mark Morgan, offensive line. They've done they had a great first half. They've gotten shut out thus far throughout the third quarter and early in the fourth. But they need points just to get something going. Dorston in the shotgun. Drops back. Taylor brings pressure. Dorston escapes. And he's tackled right at the line of scrimmage. Loses one as they're going to spot him at the 30-yard line. Great play made by the freshman Mike Branch. And David is limping on his way up. Will, the Mariemont coach's box next to us was so frustrated with that play that my microphone might have picked it up. They were screaming for Dorston to just put his head down and run the ball. There was obviously no one there, but can't fault the senior for trying to make something happen because picking up 5 isn't going to cut it right now at this stage of the game. I hope he's okay. Looks like he's limping on that foot that he had surgery on a couple of months ago. They hand it off to Brown. He has room. Takes a man down with him. To the 38-yard line. Third and 5. Clock now rolls under 6 minutes. The Yellow Jackets are going to take a timeout. They must have seen something that they don't like. But, Will, Mariemont, we talked about them trying to get something going this drive. What do you want to see here on third and medium?
You know, I honestly, a lot of people would say just try and get one past the chains. I don't hate taking a shot here just because you know that it's 4-down territory. There's no way you punt the ball at this point in the game. So whatever play they run, I'd like to see a pretty aggressive play call. Because as you said, Luke, picking up 5-6 yards isn't going to do anything for you at this point. So even if they were to, you know, maybe quarterback draw a little option play, get something going across the sticks, move the sticks, it wouldn't do a ton for them. They need big plays at this point. You need to start taking some chances. So we'll see what they dial up, but I would really like to see a shot down the field, possibly look for Mark Morgan, someone like that to get a big play going for the Warriors.
They send Glassmeyer in motion. Good blitz pickup from Elliott Brown, but the play is called dead. Flag's going to go on the defense. Let's see if the 5 yards is enough to move the chains. I believe it will be. First down for the Warriors. They evade a difficult third down opportunity. I think Elliott Brown's played really well tonight. Well, he's gone in and out of the starting running back position. He had the first score of the game tonight on the opening drive. He was just picking up first down after first down, looking like royalty on that opening drive. And then now this late in the game, we haven't seen him much because the Warriors have had to pass the ball. Dorston, quick throw to Mark Morgan. Right on cue with your prediction, Will. Morgan sheds off a defender and is eventually tackled by McFarland. Will, we haven't called Aaron McFarland's name too much tonight. He pops out to you on the stat sheet offensively, being the leading receiver in the CHL via yards per game. They also have the leading receiver in the CHL with most receptions per game. That's Rudsell. We haven't called his name at all. So I think that it's safe to say Taylor's going to go into the playoffs with a hidden gem.
Absolutely. I would say absolutely because, you know, we did see McFarland get that touchdown at the start of the game. That was a really nice play. Obviously a very athletic kid, and you expect to see a lot of big things from him. But when we give you guys our keys to the game presented by ICRC, we didn't mention Leland Jones royalty, and you honestly can't fault us or anyone else for that, because he literally, there'd be no way to tell that he would have an impact in this football game from what we've seen on the stat sheets. But if this guy is playing like this come playoff time, this is huge for the Yellow Jackets. I mean, I can't think of anything you'd rather have than a strong running back who nobody knows about going into the postseason.
Yeah, and when you run the ball, it's just so much momentum when you can just physically dominate other teams. Ball's dropped by Davis Whitmore. That ball was on the money from Dorston. Grant Booth made a really nice play on second down. The incompletion and drop brings up fourth down. 4th and 5 from the 48. Talon Vianello checks in the game. Warriors have trips at the bottom of your screen. They now break it by sending Vianello in motion. Dorston catches a high snap. He just throws it away on 4th and long, and that's a turnover on downs. Taylor has taken over this game, not only offensively, not only defensively, but also physically. Visible frustration between David and his head coach on our sideline. Nothing's going right for Mariemont right now, but all the credit in the world to this Yellow Jackets squad. I don't know what David Dransmith said to his team in the locker room, Will, but whatever it was awfully empowering, and it worked because they've shown up.
It certainly might have been a primetime-esque speech straight from Jackson State University. If anyone's seen the coaching job that he does out there, he's a very inspirational guy, and Dranson must have cooked up something because this has been absolutely remarkable. And a quick point to touch on, if my math is correct here, if royalty accounts for all of these yards and Taylor were to score a touchdown, that's 400. So keep an eye out for that, folks.
He stood up at the line of scrimmage. Warrior defense has actually shown more life the last couple of downs, stopping the run, outside of the touchdown, of course, but they had back-to-back stuffs or tackles for a loss. They stuffed royalty there. Well, Taylor has won the second half of this football game 27-0. That's what it takes to win. Come October, for some of these teams, they're going to be playing into November.
And, you know, I think it was an interesting point you made earlier when Kerr came into the game for the Yellow Jackets and was stood up twice at the line of scrimmage, that maybe it is the run, maybe it is royalty. But I think part of what you got to think about is it's almost a fear factor at this point. I mean, you've had a guy run for over 350 yards on you. They might see royalty come onto the field and get scared of him if you're the Warriors defense. Whereas you see they bring on a backup running back, all of a sudden you've got some confidence because you think you can stop him. But once you get into this point of the game, it's demoralizing to have a guy run the ball so much on you. So I think royalty has really just, I mean, he's frustrated this Warrior defense, and they might be a little bit, I don't want to say scared, isn't it maybe not the right word, but just really upset with themselves and really demeaning the way that he's run the ball on them.
Well, I know one guy that's not scared, and it's J.D. Long. He just came at royalty with everything he's got. The senior down 41-18, still grinding for the Warriors. Mariemont down 23. 1st and 10. Clock continues to roll. McGowan hasn't really had to do much, Will.
Absolutely
He threw an
not.
interception early, great touchdown to McFarland, but he's just turned into a game manager. He's done a good job of not turning the ball over. But I think I could do that job, catch it and then hand it to that guy. Really good play by Mark Morgan. He shedded his block, which made way for 55, Kiefer Burton, the senior. Shout out to Jason Dudley, executive producer tonight, everyone in our ICRC staff. Michael Asher. Of course, my partner, Will Stevens. Trey Capel. Eric running the cameras, also Jordan Murdoch, Mariemont student. So shout out to everyone involved in the ICRC. And well, now that we're under 2 minutes, Cam, doing the replays. The replays have been on point tonight.
Absolutely.
Will, we've been putting the talk back button, and Cam has been getting us them very quickly after requested, because there's been some plays that we've had to look at. I mean, 41-18, it's been an exciting game, but well, now that we're under 2 minutes, thank you guys so much for watching ICRC-TV. This is my final football game now that I'm in my senior year, and for most kids, this has been just an outstanding opportunity to do games this year. I just really want to give a thank you to everyone else. Oh, wow, even that graphic's so cool. 16 Mariemont football games is what I've done starting my sophomore year. Head coach Nick Leone, he gives us all the time in the world to answer questions, Will, but all just an enormous, I can't even put into words how much I thank ICRC, Mr. Eaton, getting us prepared every single week, Will. The Warriors try to slow down Royalty, but he just keeps bouncing and bouncing for first down after first down. But all 16 football games that I've done have been so different from one another. Some highlights: we did a Warrior playoff game by myself last year. Me and Jackson Hampton made the trip all the way out to Roger Bacon for a football game last year. But just the entire community, every time the producers show up with ICRC, they get everything set up for us. They make us feel like we're on Fox Sports pretty much, Will, and it's been such an incredible journey. I want to give a shout-out to Warriors Broadcast Network as well, because that's where we've been airing some of our games. I mean, Will, you're a sophomore, just came up to you and said you want to do a football game. It shows a lot of trust in a company like that to come in here, set everything up, and then go allow 16, 15, 17-year-old students to call games. I think it's so cool. I don't know if anyone else in the entire country, let alone world, has what we have over here. I just, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, everyone that's been involved. I've had the time of my life calling these games.
I mean, guys, Luke, it's really special to see Luke out here tonight. And everyone watching this might not know, but it's hard to overstate what Luke has done for the Warriors Broadcast Network. If you don't know about it, the Survive in Advance podcast, go check it out. He does a great job with it. And he is the voice of Mariemont football. I know what it's meant to Mr. Reed, and he's just so thankful for everything Luke does as time ticks away here. And it's really special what Luke's been able to do in his 4 years at Mariemont High School. And it's just a big thank you to him from everyone here at the Mariemont High School, and that's a part of the Warriors Broadcast Network. Thank you, Luke.
Yeah, well, thank you to everyone. You said Mr. Eaton's grateful for me. I don't know if I've been grateful for a single person more than Mr. Eaton outside of my parents throughout my entire high school journey. He's inspired me. ICRC is giving me opportunities to do what I want to do eventually at the next level and hopefully in my career. But I don't want to take away from the Mariemont Warriors' final home game at Kusel Stadium. They get dropped by the Yellow Jackets 41-18, and if you just looked at the score after this game was over, you would think it's all Taylor. Mariemont actually had the lead at halftime of this game. Taylor just showed up and showed out. What a dominant performance from the Jackets. They're going to head to the playoffs. The Warriors' season ends here, but they battled injuries all year, Will. I would say the seniors, we're going to miss them. J.D. Long, Mark Morgan, QB1, David Dorston, Kiefer Burton, London Hilchin, Owen Metz. The list can go on for a while because it was a loaded class of 2023. But I'll be signing off for Warrior football. I'll still be back for basketball season, but nothing beats Friday Night Lights. Will, thank you so much for being one of my favorite partners. You do such a good job, and I think I'm just kind of passing the torch to you, if that's possible, passing the headset, passing the microphone, whatever it is. 41-18, final at Kusel Stadium. Thank you guys for tuning in to ICRC and the broadcast of high school football. Once again, thank you guys so much for everything that you've done, giving us the opportunities to call these games. I'm really going to miss it.